go reshift. I say good fight, I won't talk shit. Okay, I'm lying, sometimes I talk shit, but I'm trying to find a state of mind to keep me in line. Whoop the zero in my fleet, man. They always say, Captain, why you gotta be bad? I don't know, it's just rinse, repeat. Long warps, puff fails, lean back the seat. If it ain't got nothing blingy, then the fit ain't complete. Dank frags only come when you suffer defeat. So keep your guns loaded, cash where you can't fold it. Play to your strength to let your ego get bloated. You can't be the best forever, somebody else gon' put you to measure. If I can help it, I won't give them the pleasure. No, they scared, they ain't breaking the tether. Can't lose if you don't play, man, you better get it together. To the vets in the alpha clones about to roam, solo pilots out alone. Don't forget where you came from and how you've grown. All the friends that you got and the ones that gone. Yeah.
To the vets in the alpha clones about to roam, solo pilots out alone. Don't forget where you came from and how you've grown. All the friends that you got and the ones that gone. Yeah.
Hey, it's been a while. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey. Fuck the plan, decloak with them hams. Who said I don't throw hands? Well, this your man's. Well, he chopped up like the weed smoke through my fan. Here's your loot, I'ma drop that can. All these modules fucking bland, homie. See you talk a lot, walk the block like you was the man, homie. But when they run up, we gon' see if you gon' put your fucking gun up or beat them feet. I'ma burn out everything, wish I could heat them links. Dirty how they had you done up, this is CPT. And I'm coming to you live from the place to be. Ayy, somewhere out in space with a face to see. A lot of sides of the ones that claim to be G's, that claim that these streets in space lay siege. My technicians hard at work in my facility, on the ships that these shits claim have unengageability. When my lost males disagree, and you ain't doing damage out here dissing me. And if you match the trends, then you hitting me. But if you talking noise, then you missing me. So when you pull up, they surprised. Tried to tell them, thought you lied. Now the auto cannon flash, just reflecting off their eyes. Stupid game, stupid prize. Are you dead or alive? Hey, 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 hey. Couldn't tell you how to entosis or the best sites you should run off of your gnosis, but I can tell you about a locus coordinator. My coordination pretty bad thanks to quarter vapor. Ain't no hate, say what's up every time they come through. I've been sitting pretty good, man. How about you? I hope you stay composed, be collected, be cool. My reps keep going long as I got a few. Hey, 3200s, 25 lighters, 25 huggers. Think it's time to retire. Try hard's gonna die hard. Find out pretty quick what their size are. By far the dumbest shit in the stars light. Right bars, just hoping to get some insight. Yeah. Fools trying to act like they just fucking lost to a bad fight. But they wouldn't say shit if the X tight was sitting in the cargo with the rest, right? Wouldn't sweat the hate, wouldn't hear the noise. I'd pack a blaster, leave it null and void. Hey, here's the Spartan and here's the Roy. It's getting boring, hope you're both deployed. Hey, let me take you back to the beginning, when I was never concerned with how I was gonna win it. If all you got is time, I'm suggesting you get with it. The only kind of limit you got is how you gon' spend it. Spending my ship, hoping profits get popping and shit. Often I get a little problematic. Keep searching for it, I probably had it. Inside it tragic, the profit static. The corporation probably was saving my life. Instead of wasting the night, rushing, I'm pacing the fight. I ain't based on some preconceptions, the empty injected lessons. I'm guessing the system and weapons under heavy compression. Impressions might get you started, don't be expected to get my respect when you disrespecting my brethren. Blessings, I've been trying to do right. Same shit, new night. Never had to complain, always someone to fight. Running your mouth, now they gon' see that you ain't too bright. So who's right when they say the way you should play should correlate, make the change? Still I bet some more would hate. If I'm born for greatness, I bet lateness is my virtue. Use what I got and I'ma see what I can work to. Hey, hey, yeah. Damn, I've been trying, hoping I can get back in it, but my all log in, stargates gone in. I don't get it up. Damn, I feel old when new shit's old. Not to be too bold, but I've been in the queue for a minute. How a whole pack of Newport's gone. I've been in the queue for a minute. All I got to show is these.
Good evening, you sons of bitches. It's me, Ithaca Hawk, and we are here to discuss the Alliance Tournament, rank all you shitlord teams, and maybe discuss some prizes. You're all the bottom of the tier in my books. I just want you all to know that. I'm joined by a whole host of incredible people. We have Sutonia, who is right there in the center of your screen, as he is in the center of my life. We have Black Bart Pirate. We have Moderator. We have Wingnut Cross all the way from Down Under. He's inverted his video today, so he is the right way up. And of course, we have Jin Tan, fresh from his water skiing holiday. Thank you for joining me, everyone. How are you? How are you, Sutonia?
Doing pretty well.
Fantastic. How are you, Wingnut?
Mate, it's cold and it's summer. I'm confused.
And BBP, how about you? Are you playing Eve right now?
I am. Well, kind of. I'm autopiloting, which is perhaps the peak and most difficult of thing you can do on EVE Online. So please, come gank me.
Where are you?
I'm in a Sureka. Here, I'll put this right here so everyone can see. Hold on.
No one can see it. The pixels are not strong.
There, I'll figure it out. I got.
There we go.
Can't
read a damn thing, Chief.
Yeah.
I'll get it in a second. There, you can figure it out. There's a Caldari gate involved.
Yeah. Anyone who ganks BBP from this stream, you can win a skin, I guess. Moderator, how are you?
I mean, I'm doing great. I'm glad to, be talking about AT again.
Me too. I'm always glad to be talking about AT. And Jin Tan, are you wearing your gold jacket right now?
No, I am wearing my lovely dressing gown with no shirt on, which is why I'm not on camera, because I just woke up half an hour ago from a wonderful nap to welcome in the weekend. I'm looking forward to grinding the film ahead of the AT. We have one more weekend of research to go before things really get started, and this is part of it.
That's right. So after this weekend, there is literally only 5 days left before Alliance Tournament 17 actually starts. And by God, it's going to be a bloodbath that first day. There is so many matches, so many teams are going to be eliminated. It is just going to be catastrophic. 40 teams will enter, a lot less will leave. To be fair, better odds than the feeders. A lot of teams entered there and a lot of teams left as well. But the reason we're here today is to shit on you all and to talk about all the cool stuff that you can potentially win. So if you've not seen the dev blog for the new prize ships, please go read it. Someone will link it in chat for me. But the key thing is the return of Alliance Tournament prize ships with Alliance Tournament 17. And so, Tonia, what are your first thoughts on these new prize ships?
And that Garma is insane. I guess that's like Lord Carlos's and Brainstraw's wet dream right there. It's like a Karis and a Garma combined into one, with the point range bonus. It gets sensor damps, and apparently it still has the same speed and damage as a Garma, according to the blog. We don't know the exact stats on it right now, but that's super exciting. I'm pretty sure a lot of the Amamaki boys are looking to fly that, because it's going to be very frustrating being damped by a Garma and killed by it like well pointed at like 60k.
I mean, it looks incredible as well. Jin, it looks like your suit.
Wow, yeah, that's. I mean, I can only hope that CCP is going to now implement some sort of golden suit in game as well to match this glorious color scheme, because it is wonderful. White and gold is just such an aesthetic, isn't it?
It's just me, by the way. It has the front been like squished. I feel like someone's like pancaked the front of it, which is perfect considering this AT is the pancake AT.
Sorry, I was muted. I believe they are so they've taken the original Garma / Author cells and have modified them quite heavily. It's not just, they haven't just reskinned them, and in past, some AT ships have literally just been a reskin with an Alliance Tournament logo on it and a couple of other tiny modifications. These look so different. Whoever's in the art team, I think, has been right, we need to keep the meme alive, guys, that the art team is the best team. Because they are
the team is the best.
That's not a meme, though. That's just
they've just turned it to 11 on this. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean that's what the top tier of our tier post should be called, just the CCP art team. That's the top tier. I'm excited to see how this thing goes. The number one thing I want to talk about is that there's more than just the normal amount. So there's at least 141 of these so far will exist. So if you haven't heard, the number of prize ships has increased massively from previous years. In a change that I personally welcome massively. So no longer is it just the top four. So no longer is it just NC Dot coming fourth and a bunch of the same teams winning third, second, and first. It is actually down to all the top 16 win ships. Like if you get into top 16, then you win 2 frigates and 2 cruisers, and we'll come back to the cruiser. If you get top 12, you win 4 of each. If you win top 8, you get 6 of each. And the thing is, though, top 16 is into the sort of aggressively mid-tier kind of range. That's not that difficult to achieve. If you're like decently competent, you can get there. Top 6, you're getting harder now, but that's 8 and 8. And then fourth place, so NC Dot wins 12 of each. Third place, 16 of each. Second place is 20 of each. And then first place, 40 of each. DBP, what do you think about these new numbers?
I'm a huge fan of it. I think that this means that, instead of it being like a couple ships in the handful of people that think they're really good and never leave Amamake, we're going to actually see people flying them and losing them horribly, because the reality is that most people that play this game are total garbage pilots and are going to feed to Ferox fleets and Munin fleets.
Can't argue
exactly. And who else? Like everyone else, feel free to just jump in. By the way, on this.
Yeah. So what's like the over under on like how many days it will take for someone to lose it to Von Hole, and like what's the bet that he'll be the first one to kill one of these?
So I think it will be single-digit days, because you're now into top 16 teams. So now there's a lot more teams who've never had AT ships before suddenly have 1 or 2 or 4 or 8. So you're going to have like these sort of middle of the road AT teams who only previously maybe won 2 matches, lost 2 matches, and went out, are going to have prize ships, and they're going to want to play with them, and they're not going to know what to do with them. They're not going to have the same bunch of pals like the Amamaki police and so on. So they're going to run around and just get dunked on. So I think single-digit days.
I was going to say within a week, so I'm glad you called that. We're both going to be so wrong, and it's going to suck. But yeah, I think within a week, one's going to go up.
I've got a question for you guys. Given that, I think a lot of the kind of top teams that we'll end up putting in the top tier probably have a rough agreement going in how they're going to divide prizes when they start training, because they put in hundreds of hours training, right? So they probably have a rough agreement of like, we'll get a prize ship each and then we'll sell the rest and split the money, something like that. For this, though, how many of those top 16 teams that end up with 4 very rare limited edition prize ships, how many of those alliances that will survive to the next alliance tournament and won't actually break up with infighting of trying to spread out those prizes? I'm actually kind of looking forward to the drama myself.
Absolutely. So I think we said that with the when earlier on I said 141, because one of these frigates was given away or will be given away for the winners of last week's Event Alliance Open Practice Final Open tournament, which means there's an additional one in circulation, and the winning team, Prismatic Legion, gets 1 ship between themselves. So there's the question: do they give it to one of them? Does that one person buy out everyone else? Do they just try and sell it? I think you're going to see a lot of the teams who win 2, 4, and 6 selling them, which means there's going to be a lot more in the market because they're going to just want to split the ISK, or someone might steal them all. So that's the other thing.
I'd totally break an alliance to steal one of those ships. I would destroy the entire corporation to steal that ship and fucking shit.
Yeah, another cool thing too is that the like top 4 teams win like a ton more prizes now too. Because previously, like like getting top 4 was like insanely difficult with the level of competition. Like there was normally at least like 8 to 12 like pretty strong contenders, like between like Tuskers, Hydra, Viadra, Tempest, NC Dot, some of the other ones like Exodus, PL, and some of the earlier ones, right? There's always been like tons of like good teams, so that's just getting to top 4 was a big achievement. And like when you get top 4 and you win like 3 of each prize ships, it was pretty that didn't really like you didn't really get as many prizes as you probably should for like the effort put in. Whereas now, like if you come 4th, you get 12 of each, and if you come 3rd, you get 16 of each, and if you come 1st, you get like 40 of each, which is more than like the 25 of each before. So I actually really like what they've done to like the top end of the bracket too.
Yeah, and let's not forget that this means that teams who weren't in that sort of elite tier next year, for example, if these numbers stick around or expand, are much more likely to want to put effort in. It's going to increase participation in the Alliance tournament. You know, if you're just generic Alliance number 724 and you look at the Alliance tournament, you think, hey, that'd be fun. But realistically, do we have a chance of winning? Probably not against, you know, some of these top teams that you just mentioned. But maybe we can get top 16. Maybe we can win a couple of ships. And I think that's awesome. That's really, really cool.
I really hope, and maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part, I really hope that a byproduct of this new prize structure, if it carries on for the next Alliance tournament, is that you might get teams which have pilots who otherwise would be like, I really want to win a prize ship. It's my goal in EVE to get a prize ship and then quit EVE. And you might get those sort of pilots stick around in those mid-tier alliances, and like kind of there will be less brain drain that there often is towards those top tier teams, and hopefully like it increases the overall skill of all the teams, if you see what I mean. Where if like you said, certain teams are like, oh yeah, no, we have a realistic chance of coming top 8 if we really try hard this year.
Yeah, I agree. Just want to quick interrupt. BBP, did I see you doing some PvP in the background there?
No. Somebody else was PvPing someone's innocent, totally safe, never could possibly die freighter, and I decided to press F1 on them getting killed by Concord, because that makes your killboard stats look good, and killboard stats are the only thing that really matters, which is why I'm super happy that the AT's coming, because then we get to watch people lose like 80 billion ISK flagships or 30 billion ISK Bargus. We'll see. One of those two.
I'm
I wish that
absolutely looking
Killboard
forward
just
to a lot of
spiral.
expensive losses. Exactly. It is a bit of a shame that we're not going to see any Alliance tournament ships die in this Alliance tournament. However, I agree with the removal of them this year because it really balances things out. But
Are you contractually obligated to agree with that? Just out of curiosity.
no, I actually genuinely agree with it. I'm like, it makes perfect sense. Like, it was always one of those things where it meant that if you had a top tier team who had access to these ships, then they could dodge bans that other teams couldn't, or you had to waste extra bans against them specifically because you knew they had like a Rapisu or something like that. But we're getting off topic. Let's talk about the other ship, the Lilaps.
Points for effort.
Laylips? Is it
I'm gonna
Laylips or
relapse.
Laylips? I swear it's Laylips.
The relapse.
I don't know.
It's a relapse.
Yeah, relapse.
That's better than prolapse.
Oh, dear.
Speaking
Is it
of
though?
prolapse, Tonya, tell us about the gigantic bubble that this thing can do.
Yeah, sure. So the Laylaps is really interesting. So it says it has a bonus to speed, so it's going to be really fast while it has the heavy interdiction bubble up. So I imagine it's going to be pretty terrifying, especially like really strong for cladding, especially with the bubble. It also has like a huge tank bonus apparently, so probably is going to have equivalent tank to an Onyx or another Hick, if not better. And it also has Orpheus DPS and mobility, so seems pretty insane.
I'm actually curious to see if people actually use that bubble in this thing ever, because effectively you're just saying, I'm now stuck on this grid for the next X amount of time. Please don't drop a fleet on me.
It's fine. There's
Or at least have something
to
to
buy
bust.
another one.
Yeah, that's easy.
Just
I
get
mean,
another one, mate. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Like, what I really like about these ships, though, is that none of them have cloaks. Like, I think this is one of the first years that they haven't done some kind of, like, stealthy, I feel like it's usually a recon or a stealth bomber or something like that, and this time there's no cloaks. So yeah, there's going to be, lots and lots and lots of them, but at the very least, like, if you can find one in a system, you can at least chase it around for 15 minutes till you safe log. So that's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Or he filaments to the next system. It's like, see ya, boys.
Well, yeah, but,
I mean, I'm a big fan of that gigantic XVII on it as well in gold. I just think it looks really cool.
Gold-plated spaceships.
Yeah.
I mean, as a connoisseur of gold-plated items, I have to say it is one of the finest ones I've ever seen.
Yeah,
you want one, right?
I want
You
that.
need that gold
I want
plate.
that to just sit in Jeter and spin it in so badly. It looks like the way they've modified the design as well, with the little added fins, and it just looks so cool. It's going to be like, I think even though they've added the 3 times the number compared to normal, roughly, I still think the value is going to be insane just because they're going to just be such a beautiful hanging ornament.
Yeah, I
Hang
think
on,
more
ornament.
people
Mate,
are
give
going to be
me one.
selling
I'll
them as
lose it in
well.
an hour. I promise.
More people are going to be selling them, which I think is fantastic because those smaller teams aren't going to necessarily want to hold on to them. Some of them will, some of them won't, but it's not going to go into the same hangers as previous, which I think is just a massive positive.
From
And
the perspective of a broadcaster as well, one of the greatest things is that this means that you're actually going to see these ships be decided. Like, you're going to have teams that have these things guaranteed by the end of weekend 1. The very last matches of weekend 7 will determine who gets into the round of 16 and is guaranteed 2 ships each. So there's some hype to begin with in that first weekend, and I've always felt like it was a bit of a slog there. So it's going to be great to help give stakes to those mid rounds. The 32 to 16 stakes are normally just skins, but now it's going to be straight up Alliance Tournament prize ships.
yeah,
Hey,
that's a very good point.
To kind of to piggyback off of what Jin is saying here, you end up with some of the kind of like these lower bracket matches where you're like, okay, both of these teams are like in the losers bracket, and we're pretty sure that neither of them is actually going to make it that deep. But now we're going to have some very, very spicy losers bracket matches where it's like, this team's getting AT ships, this team's not right here and now, and that's going to amp up, I think, a lot of the hype and a lot of the interest surrounding a lot of those matches. Maybe we get to see some flagships get brought out when they wouldn't otherwise, but should definitely improve the quality of the broadcast and matches overall.
I think it's a very good point that you've both made. Sometimes the first weekend of Alliance tournament does feel like a bit of a slog. With the good teams are mostly going to cruise through and wait to get to the later weekends, and then the other teams are sort of fighting it out for scraps and pennies. But previously it was just skins. By the way, they still get skins for winning, but now, like you say, yeah, it's going to be a bit more motivation because if you're already in the losers bracket and you don't expect to be able to get super deep, you're just trying your best. Well, maybe you try a little bit harder because top 16, you win a ship and then you can sell it and then you're no longer poor, which is fantastic. But let's not forget there is other things that you can win. And when I say you, I don't just mean the planets. I mean you people out there in Twitchland watching the show. So there's match predictions on Twitch using your channel points, and you can vote on them. And there is prizes every day during the Alliance tournament. So there's skins, dope skins. The Galnet ones are pretty cool. There is mixed dimension ship models, which are awesome. They're really nice models. I actually have a Geddon up there, and it's a lot better like resolution than I actually thought it was when it turned up. I'm very impressed with it. There's an Eve watch which has a little thing so you can set Eve time on it, so you can always see it at a glance. So you don't miss your fleets. There's the USB Rifter hubs, which are from the 10th anniversary collection, I believe. They clearly ordered way too many of them because they're just constantly trying to get rid of them. And then you get vouchers for the Eve online merch store. So yeah, you can win stuff even if you're not in the tournament. You can still watch and you can predict and you can win cool things, maybe more, who knows. It's not on this channel, Tibble, so unfortunately you cannot use event points.
No.
You have to use the CCP ones, which of course you all have loads because you're all watching the CCP channel constantly. And if you're not, make sure you get in there and start building up those points so you can win some cool prizes. I think that's it for the dev blog for prizes, unless anyone's got any burning points they want to raise.
They're not getting Plex, right, for winning? Just out of curiosity.
That's a very good point.
I think they do, don't they?
I have no idea. It wasn't in the dev blog. I read it, and then I had to go run errands this morning.
It isn't in the dev blog. It's a very good point. But traditionally, the entry fees go into a prize pot. So you win trillions of ISK worth of prize ships and then like a couple of billion worth of Plex. So most people, including CCP, clearly forget about it because it's immaterial at this point. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they win prizes. Oh my god, what's happened to me? I'm a robot.
Nice.
It's an intentional effect, honest.
Okay.
I think Ethan's been hit by the new warp disruption effect. That's why we're not getting him through.
Exactly. Oh, I'm back. Fantastic. That was
We're
very
good.
smooth, wasn't it? So anyone else got anything they want to mention about these ships or the prizes?
Can I please steal one from someone? that's
Why
all.
don't you just play on a team? It's easy.
Oh,
You just gotta
yeah,
get top 16. It's too easy.
Random Australian nerd looking for team. Oh wait, it's too late for that.
Next time.
Next
Maybe,
time. Exactly.
maybe.
Hopefully this makes more people go, hey, I'm going to play. and then they play, and then they win stuff. And
And
I'm
then
all
we can
about
have
it
a
'cause-
month-long feeder match set up again with like
Yeah.
200 teams. It's gonna be great.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah,
they
I
made
mean,
so many teams and feeders this year. Was it 91?
70
For
something.
It was a
I think.
lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was about a few.
91 signed up. A bunch of them paid their way in, and a bunch got
Oh, yeah.
invites. So
yeah, CCP.
Go on.
Yeah, CCP clearly didn't anticipate this level of interest in the event when they said only 32 teams. I believe the last AT didn't even have 64 entries. This time we had well over 90, so people were excited to come back for the tournament, and we're seeing that now. They expanded it to 40 because of the level of interest. We're like, okay, maybe we should make the feeders like not as hard as the actual main event.
I mean, all I see is a trend going up. So I'm hoping for Alliance Tournament 18 #confirmed. We'll have maybe 128 teams. I know Bay's probably falling off his seat right now when I'm talking about doing a broadcast of 128 team tournament. But
One thing I like about it though, like now we've changed it, so we got obviously more AT ships being given out. That because the feeders are so large, there actually is still a reasonable chance of getting it. Like it's not like suddenly you've got a massive chance to get a ship, because now you have to go through this massively brutal feeder slog to get there first. Which I will admit I quite enjoy the idea of just having to slog through that stuff to get another AT ship.
Yeah,
I love it.
one thing that I think would be cool too is if since there's so much interest in the tournament scene, especially with some of the other tournaments like the summer tournament, the Anger Games, and the Event Opens, is if we could have like a circuit, right, where like the top 4 teams from like each event like gets in, kind of like what happened this year, and then you could have something like you actually have like a tournament circuit, right, where you have like Event in February, then you have Anger Games. Then you have the summer tournament, then you have the feeders, and then you have the AT. Like something like that would be really cool.
I mean, I'm fully on board with that. Someone at CCP get the art team on this one, and they'll have it knocked out in a couple of days. I'm excited. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Are you Bay? You excited to be the admin for all of those events?
No.
Just have a yeah.
When they start
I'll
paying,
ask
when
Jared
they
if
start
he'll do it.
paying me, I will gladly do all that. But like the
Okay.
Alliance,
Yeah, find Geronix. Ask
the
him.
Alliance
I'm sure
Open
he'll
last
love
year,
to.
I loved it. I loved organizing it, and I really enjoyed doing the stream, and I loved all the feedback we got, and it was really and all the teams seemed to really enjoy themselves. It was fantastic. But oh my god, that took so much work. And I would love to do like a series of majors, or minors, kind of type, reflecting of the esports, kind of similar format where we have a series of kind of smaller competitions throughout the year. It is just a massive time investment for volunteers, though. And I think if you're going to put prize ships on the line, I mean, CCP were very generous. In fact, they gave us that one AT ship to give away for the Open Series, which is super cool. But I think if you're going to put prize ships on the line, it massively increases the level of responsibility on the tournament organizers, and it turns it from just like, let's just do this, organize this tournament on the weekend for fun, to like, oh right, yeah, we should probably take this really seriously now. So I love the direction things are going at the moment, really positive in the tournament scene, but I think a significant amount of investment from CCP would need to come to make that a reality. But
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm just excited to have Alliance Tournament back at this point, and anything else is a bonus. I can't wait for next couple of weeks. I think.
yeah, I'm really. I don't. It sounds like I'm being negative. I just want to reinforce the fact that I'm very happy.
You're
with
being
the
realistic.
Yeah, I'm just being realistic, but I'm really
I think
happy with the way things are
what
going.
He's only one man, guys. He's only one man. We can't take him to every tournament.
What we need is for everybody to
Just
just
chain him to the
engage.
computer. He's not allowed to leave.
Need everyone to engage with the tournament as viewers and as participants, and just really show CCP because the community team are heavily interested in this. So CCP Aurora, CCP Swift, CCP Convict, they're all into this. And the more people that watch it, the more people that engage with it, the easier it is for them to sell it to their upper management that, hey, why not do 2 Alliance tournaments a year? I mean, why not? So we'll see. Now, speaking of Alliance tournaments, does anyone want to shout in some teams?
That's why we're here, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Dude, get that tier list going. We got to be toxic.
The sad thing is, there's only like 3 teams that I can actually shit on this year, like genuinely, because a lot of them are actually
good.
decent. Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm looking at a list here which has 40 teams that are in the tournament, and it is ordered by, I think, draw order from CCP when they drew those ping pong balls out of that bingo machine. So that's the order that we're going off. Team number 1, first out of the box, is Goonswarm Federation. So the tiers that we have here are the top tier, reserved only for the finest, aka the art team tier. On the boundary, also known as the honorary Casper 24 tier. We've got mid tier, which is it's middle of the road, nothing special. Aggressively mid tier, the Riksjavik special, although I would say his team is definitely better than aggressively mid tier this year. And then the good luck tier, and there might be another tier underneath for some teams, but we haven't put it on the board. So if you are Goonswarm Federation, wait, I thought I'd change the question.
Before you get cracking on the list, this is like a little disclaimer here that these guys got a ton of experience in terms of their knowledge of the Alliance tournament scene. But if you're a new team, you're probably going in good luck tier just because we don't know how you're going to perform in the tournament. So it doesn't mean we think you're a rubbish alliance. Okay, try not to take it personally. If we put you in, if we put you in good luck tier, use that as motivation, right? We put the minions in good luck tier. Last time we did this just before the feeders, and the minions just won. No, sorry, it wasn't. It was platinum sensitivity, but minions came second, I think, and so they did really, really well. So.
I just want to point out, I've opened up my Eve client. I will have my wallet open. I am willing to take bribes, not only for your team, but also for other teams. If you want other teams to be moved around, if you want my opinion swayed, then my wallet is open. I'm not above that.
It's bribes for your tier. Your tier.
I would also like to state that I was told we were coming here specifically to make people annoyed and to be toxic. So. Are we saying that's not what we're doing, Bay? Yeah, I thought we were here to be
I was just
toxic.
putting a disclaimer before we got started on that, okay? I feel like, I'm playing good cop.
Tier
you guys to be bad cop.
Toxic.
You go.
Right, first team, out the bag. It is Goonswarm Federation. Now, if this was any other year, I would put them right at the bottom because Goonswarm are traditionally absolute garbage in the Alliance tournament. They're great at almost everything else that they try in Eve, except being reasonable people. However, when they get to the Alliance tournament, they just fall apart all the time. They did provide us with some fantastic entertainment with the Mitani and his polarized a couple of years ago. And for that, I want to put them higher up. However, this year, they did really good in the Anger Games, surprise, surprise. They did pretty good in the Alliance Open. I would say Goonswarm, I mean, for me, I don't want to put them... I want to put them mid tier. I want to put them right there. I want to give them a bit of hope, but they are still marred by the fact that
they're still Goonswarm.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that Goonswarm in the Alliance Open practice thing that we did, they actually beat the Hydra Warlords team in one of those, and I believe they also put Warlords into the losers bracket in the Anger Games. So even though Goonswarm, you wouldn't traditionally think of them as like an esports powerhouse when it comes to Eve Online, they definitely have shown that they can upset like incredibly good team in a best of one. So I would put them mid tier as well.
Yeah, I'm all for mid tier as well. They've definitely gotten better, but I mean they're still goons.
BBP, you're a big fan of goons, right?
I don't really. They're like not particularly important in the grand scheme of my extremely elite high-sec autopiloting PvP, unless I bring a freighter. So I don't really care what they do. But I think that I read something very interesting by General Stargazer, who clearly is a big fan of goons, who says it's important to note that in 3 of the 4 matches in the Anger Games, their opponents boundary violated. So I'm just saying, can we count that? It was a goon run tournament. And 3 of their 4 opponents boundary violated. There might have been some shenanigans there. I'm just saying.
You see, they shrunk the arena.
Yeah, the goons shrunk the arena. They were like, eh.
It's just the smell of the goon.
That is possible. You can actually do that live, with the referee tool. You can actually shrink the boundary live while the match is going on.
There you go.
I don't do it.
And this is why I was the referee for the Goonswarm games.
Don't say that. No one believes.
You're the one who had the info. All right.
I'm gonna expect shenanigans now.
We could do a battle.
I'd say goons mid tier. Goon mid tier.
Mid tier. We're all agreed on mid tier. Okay, goons
mid tier
into mid tier. First one is done. What's the next one? Vidra Reloaded. So Vidra are a champion team. I think they've won two. They definitely won the last proper Alliance tournament. And did they win the year before as well?
They won 80-15 and 80-16.
Right. So they're a good team, and the core pilots, I believe, are pretty much the same. They haven't lost pilots. They haven't really gained that many pilots. They are the same core team. I'm pretty sure they're still exclusive practice partners with Hydra Reloaded. So I don't think we can put them anywhere other than top tier.
Yeah, they are the returning champions, right? Like they won the previous two ATs. They didn't look like as say solid as they did in the Alliance Open. I believe they got knocked out pretty early. I think Volta beat them in the first game.
Yeah, so both of them brought their wild cards, if I remember correctly, during Alliance Open. They came up against each other on weekend one, match one, which was a heck of a matchup for the first day. Both teams went all in, and Volta triumphed in the end. I think, honestly, I even though they didn't do so well in that particular tournament, I still think that they're a top tier team.
Yeah, they're one of those teams that you have to put in top tier because they only ever drop matches to teams that are also kind of in the top tier. I mean, they're not dropping matches to teams that are kind of in the tier below them or in mid tier. You expect to see them in the finals or top 4 in every event. Personally, I was invited on the show thinking that we were going to put like Vidra third, Tempest like second, and then Hydra, and then everyone else was in good luck tier. Because, I mean, if you're not in like the top 4, who cares? And then NC Dot in 4th place, of course, again. But yeah, no, on a serious note, top tier for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
No, we're being honest here, are we? Oh, shit, I've entered the wrong place.
we're being both honest and brutal when we want to be. But I think some things that if we put Vidra in good luck, everyone would be like, "Well, hang on, you got this whole tier list is wrong."
This
now.
might be a bit biased, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an Australian tier list. Don't worry, this is perfectly normal.
Exactly. The bottom is best.
Everything's upside down.
Okay.
One of the interesting things from the meta that we've seen so far, at least judging by the anger game, sorry, not the anger games, the open practices, is that there's going to be quite a lot of ECM as well, and that's something that Vidra has a lot of experience doing on the competitive level. So I would say that Vidra has an advantage even over what they normally have potentially with the meta this year.
Very good point. I don't think there's a tier above top tier, so we'll have to leave them there. But
Call the ECM tier.
yeah, the ECM tier is below good luck tier, because you're a dirty coward. So let's put them in top tier, and let's move on. Boundary experts. So first question about boundary experts. Who are boundary experts?
There's a lot of like old PL guys on their team, right? Like Alchemist 8, Radicos is on there. There's a few like alumni, I'd say, from the PL Alliance tournament team.
Yeah.
I don't know this Radicos that you mentioned.
Yeah, he's known for feeding Casper's Maraca.
Oh, I see. Right.
Oh, that guy, right? Yeah.
Okay, so then immediately straight into the good luck tier.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because if they're PL,
no, we can't put him in the good luck tier. He's our number one donator.
Wait, so these were the
no, we've got to put him in top tier because of all the subs he's bought.
Yeah, number one donator goes in top tier. That's how that's how this works.
These were all the
we can be bribed.
Is this a bribe-friendly tier list?
I can be bribed. Has to come to me.
You're part of we, so we can be bribed.
So these were all the PL players that weren't good enough to get into Hydra, right?
Yeah, these are PL players that weren't good enough to get into any of the other good teams.
Okay, got it.
And PL themselves didn't even bother picking a team in this year, so doesn't look good for next PL team, does it? The only PL is Prismatic Legion, I think. I don't even know if they got through.
Yeah, they did.
They should have, right? Yeah, they're in the tournament.
Yeah. I thought they got eliminated by Exodus, didn't they? Prismatic Legion, but Platinum Sensitivity might be the one you're mixing up with because they both have like the best logos ever, like really like shiny, cool ones. So,
you know, I'm looking at the tier list here, and I don't even know which logos there is to move into the good luck tier. So, Bay, I hope you know which one it is.
Their in-game logos are Drake.
Yes, I know.
It's yellow.
I'm preparing. So when you call where you want them, I'll pop them in. That's not a problem. I can do that.
I mean, unless anyone has a convincing argument, I'm going to put them in the good luck tier.
I think they're better than that.
Yeah.
Like the corp that's part of them, Wildcard, they're pretty strong solo roamers. Like I'd probably put them in the mid tier personally. Maybe aggressively mid tier because you don't really like know too much about them. But
Yeah, but I'm also deducting points for them being aggressive shit talkers.
but they have a Drake as a logo, so you gotta move them up a tier for that, right? So it cancels it out.
See, I drop it down though
Aggressively
because
mid-tier.
they
Oh,
have
not-
like
not
an
solo
AT
roamers,
specific
small gang
logo.
roamers, PvP. That's what I meant. Sorry. Dirty blobbers with snakes.
All right, fine. I've been convinced. Aggressively mid tier.
Hey.
I will not go higher than aggressively mid tier. Oh, I see them. Boundary experts. There they are. It's a yellow Drake.
Does the phrase "I've been convinced" means you successfully received a winning bid? Bribe. Sorry.
No,
Radicus did
and-
just subscribe again, so
There we go.
Okay, fine. For the subscription, I'll put him up to mid tier from aggressively mid tier.
Oh, he's
I've
subscribed.
already-
We can
I've already
shit
done
we
that.
can shit talk him now and move him back down.
Yeah, he's already paid. He can't take the money back now. Perfect.
Back to aggressively mid tier, then, please, Bay.
okay.
All right, moving on. The network.
Noir.
The network.
Yes.
Good luck, I think.
Luck.
Are they a new team?
No, so no, I think it's Alexander. He's not here, but it's Alex's team, his alliance. The main groups in there is Noah. There is a slight hope for them in that they have like Fables group, like nanocurrency inside them, which are like old furnace guys, and obviously they did pretty well as the barcode team. I'm not sure like how many pilots are still there from that team. Yeah, I can't say Alex's name, so I'm just gonna say Alec.
Yeah, I could.
But they have one of the worst AT records ever. I think they've entered like 4 ATs and they went 0-2 in 3 of them, and they went like 2-2 in the other one.
Shout out to Alec
Okay,
there.
that's an upgrade.
Alec is a cool guy. I
he's-
know what you're talking about now.
He's going to be commentating a little bit on the first day of AT for as well. He did commentating for the feeder round as well. And
Yep.
Oh, make sure you put him on his match so he can
he's
be
not, I
nervous.
don't think he would be doing that one, no.
So if he's commentating, he's not flying, and if the record is that bad, then I really do wish them good luck. And I feel like there's nowhere else they can go other than the good luck tier in that case.
Okay.
Willing to be convinced. Checking my wallet. No
Suddenly
bribes
you've been
to take.
voted down to below good luck tier somehow.
Right. Are they in the good luck tier now?
They are indeed.
Okay. Dark side.
Ooh,
So-
This is a tricky one.
Yeah, because they did okay in some previous tournaments.
yeah. So Darkside obviously are a pretty strong like Russian like roaming alliance, especially mid scale. Like they take like 40-50 people and like beat Horde like with 100 pretty consistently. And they've always done fairly well in the AT, although they did take part in the Alliance Open, and I believe they lost to, was it Literally Triggered? They lost to, I'm not saying Literally Triggered are a bad team for sure, because they've been practicing a ton, and they made the Invitational, but it seemed like they bought like a really weird comp, and they just lost to a team you wouldn't expect to beat them.
I only have one question. Is Faffy Waffy captain, or is he still not around?
Yes,
is he not
yes,
around
he is.
anymore?
Yes, he's captain. Yeah.
Okay, so mid tier to 1 tier above mid tier then?
So you want to put them on the boundary?
Yeah, we've seen them do some really good stuff recently too. Like I agree with Nod. They're on the boundary. I think they have that like whatever the Russian Eve player secret sauce is, where they're going to bring something you're not expecting, and then you're going to feed to it and be like, "Huh, that shouldn't have worked." And then they do it again the next match and just totally die. So, I could see them getting top 16, top 80.
On the boundary
maybe.
works perfectly fine for them. Like as you said, they have out the box thinking, so being on the boundary of being out the box works for me.
Awesome. I mean, I can't disagree with that. Happy to put them there. So, Dark Side on the boundary, officially better than Goons. There you go. The next team, Templis Calcif. So, Templis are the current hot shit of the tournament scene. All right. They turned up in Alliance Tournament 16, and they were just a bunch of Qadari role players, and then they dunked on Hydra and knocked them into the losers bracket.
But that was AT15, but yeah.
15, and everyone was like, "Oh, what the hell?" And then they did pretty all right in AT16 as well. and then they won Alliance Open convincingly. They didn't lose a single match, even in the best of 5 finals, and they didn't use their wild card the whole time. They just went bam, 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 won every single match. Didn't even use the wild card.
Didn't they only lose like 3 ships as well?
Something like that. They lost like 3 ships in the whole.
It was a
tournament.
total sweep. Yeah.
Yeah, they were dominant. And teams like Hydra, Vidra, Tuskers, Volta, all in that tournament. All of them lost matches, dropped matches. I mean, Tuskers did really well until they got up against Templars and just got stomped 3-0. Same thing happened to Hydra, 2-0 in the third place match, I believe, which is just ridiculous. I mean, if there was a number one slot that we could put a single team into, as the strongest potential team,
As like the favorites, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where not Hydra. Oh, God, my bias is showing again. Where Templars would
Did you
go.
just get a wallet flash from
I did. Yeah, let me
Hydra
just
over
check
there?
it. Yeah. Oh, that's not enough. Sorry, that's not enough. Keep trying.
But yeah, they'd be number one if we had a tier for it. Just number one. Even I'm utterly convinced of that too. Like that showing in the Alliance Opens was so disgustingly over the top. Like, so most of the matches weren't even like they picked like a perfectly amazing comp against a crap one. They just flew a lot of them too.
Yeah.
So they gotta be.
For me, and obviously I like when I'm for the Alliance Open, I did the camera work, for the whole thing, and every time they came on, I can just tell when a captain is making the right call every time. I think a lot of that team, and not to put the others down, but a lot of that is riding on Last Spartan. He's got a ton of Alliance tournament, and also he took part in our championships back in the day. He's got like literally years and years of tournament experience, and just watching them fly in Alliance Open, it just seemed to me like he just has this really good instinct of what the right call is now, and he just seems to be able to really confidently relay that to the rest of this team. So I think whether or not they succeed this year is going to be down to whether or not they've cracked the meta. You cannot underestimate Hydra and Vidra in terms of cracking the meta and figuring out what the sort of ace up the sleeve is in terms of like what comps they bring. So Templars are good theory crafters, clearly. Can they do that same thing that Hydra and Vidra do repeatedly, which is just come up with ideas and execute them that no one else has? I don't know. But certainly, yeah, top tier from me, for sure.
Any disagreement of putting Templars into the top tier here?
No, I think you're right. They're the number one favorites to win, I think.
So confirmed, Templars going 0-2 in the first weekend. Sorry,
Caldari
guys.
role players on top. Who would have
The
guessed?
Imitar role players, unfortunately, they all got like eliminated, didn't
Do you
they?
know what, do you know what the funniest thing would be is that if they went out to someone like Dirt and Glitter, they're in it, right?
Yeah, I guess they are kind of Amar role players in the sense
Yeah.
that they're in Amar militia. I don't think they role play Amaras. They role play like Kesha ship posters, but.
Speaking of locals primary, who are Dirt and Glitter are in, they're next on my list. So, I mean, good luck because
No,
No.
they're way better than that. They came fourth place in the Anger Games. They
Yeah, but I
did a
don't
really
care
deep
about
run
that.
in the Open that they were in. They beat, I think,
care.
Yeah, they were actually just shy of the cutoff. If a couple of teams had gotten less points in the final weekend, they would have qualified for the Invitationals at the end of it. They had a pair of really strong showings. I think they won one match in their first and 2 or 3 in their second. I didn't take stats on what ship they used because they weren't in the finals, but they did execute and challenge quite a lot of better teams as well. I believe they lost to Literally Triggered and a couple of others, who ended up doing relatively well in the Invitational as well.
Yeah, they made it into the final for the week 3. They went 2. I think Deepwater Hooligans took it 2-1, but it was a good series.
And anyone who wins matches with an extra large shield boosters on their oracles gets a point from me.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
These are all fantastic arguments. I don't care for any of them because some years ago, a Dirt and Glitter guy agreed to 1v1 me, and then this shows how old this was. He decloaked a falcon in the middle of the fight when he was losing. So for that, they can go in the bottom tier because I still haven't forgiven them. I don't care about any of your other logic. Right to the bottom.
So you're playing your host card and we're dumping them in the
I
bottom
am.
tier.
Yep, bottom tier.
If we're going this way, shit, like half these teams have probably been like good luck tier for me.
Yeah,
Like, that guy dropped me. That guy dropped me. Well, that guy dropped me too.
I'd say they're
No,
definitely.
but when you agree to 1v1 in low sec, and then you decloak a Falcon when you're losing, you can piss off to the bottom tier.
Fair.
I think the mid tier personally, but
Yeah.
I guess we're learning who has the true power here. It's not the votes that count. It's who counts the votes.
Exactly. I
Who's
count
got
them.
the hammer?
I would say shout out
count
to
them.
CCP Swift's copy pasta in chat. It's good.
Spam this carton to fuel the last Spartan. Do you know what?
Nice.
I'm a fan of all of these spam this whatever to fuel whatever because every single time they make me chuckle. There was so many of them during Alliance Open and Anger Games, and I just enjoyed every single one of them. So please continue with them. I'm happy for them. Fantastic. So moving on. Forsaken Empire. Almost missed Forsaken Empire. Forsaken Empire. Any thoughts on them?
I think on the boundary, based on their performance in the Open.
I'm jumping between on the boundary and mid tier to be honest. Like I
Yeah.
like them. They had some good comps, but I swear they had like I have to remember their matches, but I swear they had some gaping flaws they didn't quite do well with. I don't know. They've got a lot of potential though. They could do it, but
They feel
We'll have to wait and
like
see.
a team to me who are new to the Alliance tournament scene, and I could be wrong. There could be some players there who've got a lot of experience, but as a team, I think they're new to the Alliance tournament scene. They feel like a team that they've copied. Certainly their performance in the Opens, they copied a lot of like traditional comps. Like nothing they flew was out of the box, but they flew it pretty well. They just were over aggressive, I think, and so I think they're one of those teams that will do when that over aggressiveness wears off a little bit and they settle down. Then I think they'll be solid.
speaking of over aggressiveness, I could have sworn were they one of the teams that flew like no logi like
Yeah, they brought a ton of like no logi comps. Like they used the triple Baden like Oracle comp a ton. They also used I think like a no logi drone comp a ton too.
Well, that convinces me. I'm happy to put them on the boundary. Anyone who brings his triple Abaddon is good in my books.
Yeah, on the
But I
boundary.
don't think we
could
can
go
put
with
them on the
either.
boundary.
No, I'd
You
say
don't
they're
think they're that
mid tier.
good?
Like, yeah, they're not.
They
They're
got the
mid tier.
balls
They're
to
not
go
on the
no logi,
boundary.
come on.
Yeah.
When
No,
we
they
started
did
this
get they did get
conversation, and
into
you guys were like,
the.
they could be on the boundary. And as soon as I say let's put them there, you're like, oh, hold on.
I never agreed that they were on the
Doing
boundary.
anything hasty here.
I think they're mid tier, mid core.
Oof, man, the chorus. It's hard to
Like
beat them.
copying other people's setups and then losing in the opens
Did they
does not
copy
make you on
people's
the
setups?
boundary. Yeah. It's not that they didn't copy, but they just flew the same thing everybody else is flying. Like, oh, I brought 3 Abaddons. It's like, cool. I could do that too.
All right, I've been convinced. This is a democracy when it benefits me. So I'm willing to put them into mid tier.
Okay, there is one thing that's really interesting though about Forsaken Empire. And I believe they're the only team that has a flagship Varga.
Ooh.
Ooh,
They also have a cool alliance logo.
does that having a flagship Varga is that enough to move them down to aggressively mid tier?
Probably not.
Okay, just keep that.
Enough
keep
to
that
make
in
them
mind,
based, is what it is.
The
Okay,
gin has
next one up.
spoken.
Is Turbo Feed or Glory?
Good luck.
Top tier,
Yeah,
obviously.
No, I think that Vaporeon is top tier, but I think Turbofido Glory is good luck personally.
They very much were turbo feed in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
don't-
no, it's hard to put them anywhere else given their performance. Sorry, guys.
That seems pretty pretty
I,
unanimous
mean,
to me.
I do love
so-
me some glory, but too much turbo feeding going on.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, Turbo Feed or Glory. So into that tier you go. Bay was very nice with these names when he made them.
This is Satoni's work. This is good work from
So
Satonia.
Tony, you were very nice with these tier names when you made them.
So good luck, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to put the bottom tier as like be too mean to the teams because we're already absolutely trashing them. So
I think if
Well, it
doesn't matter.
if you called it like shit tier or something like that, I think that's almost less offensive than just good luck.
It's too polite, is it for you, Bay?
Well, and realistically,
they're
it's not
top
like
tier.
anything we say matters. Like we're going to be totally wrong, and just
All-
flip this upside down, and that's what it's going to really look like.
All we're doing is providing material for adverts in the future. It's all that's happening right now. If you're not aware
Yeah,
of that,
you know, like
this is
the
what's happening.
Tempest advert where it's just
Well, Apophany and Maud just get shit on because we're just making terrible calls the whole time. It's great.
it's just you know, what do you think about Tempest versus Hydra? And it's just Kodari role players, you know, Hydra. Tempest has no chance.
Yep. Yeah, so that's all we are right now is just advert fodder for the next year when these teams inevitably do well. You're welcome, Rix. I think I've been the source of at least 2, maybe even 3 of his adverts because I predicted against a band apart a bunch of times. And now I've learned my lesson. I always predict a band apart. I'm no longer in any adverts. It's fantastic.
The problem has been solved.
Exactly. I always just predict them. Hydra Reloaded, the next team. I feel like it would
Top
be
tier easy, I think.
Yeah, that would be easy, but it would be very funny to put them in second place.
Or
Oh
in
yeah,
good luck,
well, I
just
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
Casper 24 is on the team,
So,
so
okay, here's what you do, Ithaca. So shift to the bars so that Templus is in first on in the order, and then just put Hydra second. Okay, just everything will be right in the universe if you do that.
Yeah. I was going to say, because Tempest is top tier, you just can't put them there now. They have to be the one below that because Tempest are just that good. So
Well, hang on, you make
kick
a
them
very
out
good
top
point.
tier.
So, Temples have beaten Hydra a bunch of times now. They dunked them 2-0 in the Alliance Open. They beat them in Alliance Tournament previously. I mean, that's
yeah,
a
the
very
Anger Games final was a bit closer. I think it went 3-2, right? It went the full series,
Yeah, that one.
but they still won pretty convincingly.
Yeah, I mean there are. I mean, in these 5 tiers, I think then yes, they have to go into top tier. But if there was sub tiers, it
Yeah,
would be
they'd
like
be second to Tempest.
middle top tier, not top tier. So, like,
Oh, there's something important to think about Hydra. So Kadesh is unbanned. That kind of changes things, right? Like that increases the possibility of Hydra getting first or collusion. Like we got 2 options here.
Maybe both.
Maybe both. They could get first and get collusion. That's happened before. We've seen it.
I mean, I think
I
that
wasn't
okay.
ready for that.
So here's a super hot take. I don't think the Kadesh unban matters as much as people think it does, because he was banned from participation in basically flying or captaining any matches, right? But he was never banned from theory crafting. And Kadesh is a really good pilot, but what he's best known for is having what was at the time by far the best theory crafting of just any individual in EVE Online. If you were in like 2013, 2014, 2015, and Tony can speak to this having been in Warlords back then, he was the best theory crafter, just period, in EVE Online.
Yeah, that's true. He knows so much about the game too, just from his like work on Python. Like I remember him telling me, damp drones and damps are not on the same stacking penalty, so you can use like a damp drone on someone, and it'll be a full effectiveness even if they have like module damps. He just knows like really obscure facts like that, and like tons of those, and like really like refined like Hydra's comps insanely. So yeah, Kadesh is by far probably the best fairy crafter in the game.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
once you're banned out and you can't fly, your motivation does dip a little bit. So him being back might give him that fire to do some
I don't
crazy
know, I've
stuff
always felt that
again.
he was sort of in the back, in the back rooms because he's passionate about it. Like to be this involved and keeping up with things like PyFa and like all the time he put into the teams over the years, I don't think you can just expect him to not be interested anymore. And I reckon he's been in the back the whole time, and now we're just seeing him back in the front again. And I think those are valid points. Hydra have to be in the top tier until proven otherwise. Despite the fact that they've been beaten a bunch by Templars, to be honest, if anything, that's just going to make them more hungry for it in this Alliance tournament.
Get
So,
that glory back.
do you know what? I would love if they ended up against each other like super early in the brackets because of the way things worked. Just that would be fantastic. Top tier? Anyone disagree? Fantastic. Top tier. Well done. Next team, Waffles.
No, I'm not sure how Waffles are
Good
going to
luck.
survive in this tournament without Rabisus to lose. That's their calling card. What are they going to do this year?
Didn't they lose Rabisus and still just like totally feed?
Yeah,
Yeah, they went like 0-2 or something, or like 1-2, so it didn't help.
Waffles are probably one of the worst teams in this tournament, I'd say.
Oh,
Right, someone clip
Damn.
that.
All right.
There's your advert fodder for next year when Waffles wins.
I don't think they're that bad. They're not that bad.
Okay, Revolution and the Network are in the tournament, but it's
Damn.
they're not exactly that far from the bottom.
This is your CSM PvP representative.
Yeah.
When you're on the floor, everything that's slightly above a millimeter already seems like a massive jump. So they're just a little bit better.
Also, they're waffles
Just
in the
above the
tournament.
floor of the dumpster is what I'm hearing.
They're also waffles in an alliance tournament that's like pancake themed, so they're basically fucked. Basically bottom tier they go.
So
It's
what
the
I'm hearing
pancake
is
tournament.
they're the wrong breakfast dessert. They're 1 centimeter above the floor of a dumpster, and they're possibly one of the worst teams in the tournament. Is that?
Oh, they're
Yeah,
advert-
I mean,
they're
if we were like, if this was a tier list for AT adverts, they would definitely be top tier. But if it's an AT about like past performance in the Alliance tournament, they're definitely in the good luck tier for me.
Your memory seems to be really different from mine. I've always thought of Waffles as like mid tier or aggressively mid tier. I've never thought of them as a good luck tier team. I've always thought like they're a team that will. Okay, clearly my memory is wrong. I'm actually going to look up. We've got attached to our Vito has been working, who programs all of our websites and stuff. He's been. Did you look it up on there as well?
I've just remembered I've access to it. I'm gonna
I think they normally like win a game then lose 2, and normally the game they win are against like no name teams.
I've looking at their record now. They have 8. This is going back to Alliance Tournament 7. They have lost 8 matches and won 4. So yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, they win 1, then they lose 2, and the team they beat is like FCON or something.
Look, fun fact though, the last team they beat was Out of Sight, who were a pretty decent team. So
Also, fun fact.
This, I can look this stuff up while we're on stream. This is.
I know we're not like super looking into what the matches are, but their second match is against Templars if they win their first one.
Goodbye, Waffles. It was nice knowing you.
So, yeah, I mean, they might win their first one just because it's up against some guys that we'll talk about later who I have no idea who they are. But, yeah.
I gotta make at least my vote for aggressively mid tier because they kicked me out of my space. So, that's something, isn't it?
Yes.
No.
Who are you flying with?
Not really.
These days I just fly in wormholes. Wormhole or BTW.
I mean, they also made you lose a bet at one point, right? I think there was a Waffles versus CVA game, and you bet on CVA, and CVA lost.
Yeah, that did happen.
Oh, I might be thinking differently because I don't think CVA got in because the EQ didn't pay the bill, right? And it
was like versus some of my role players that weren't CVA or something like that. I don't know. Sag.
I am going to agree with the fact that Waffles are trash and put them right at the bottom.
Wait, you mean good luck, right?
Yes, sorry, good luck.
Or should I just leave them off the list?
You just leave them off.
Wow. We'll say nice things about them. They're a top 64 team.
I stuck up for them. I stuck up
Watershed.
for them. I think they should be mid tier. Well, no, probably not. I think they should be aggressively mid tier, but
Okay,
So did you just call them top 64 team in a 40 team tournament?
Yes.
Right, good luck to you. Indigo, good luck to you, Waffles. If it goes well for you, you've got plenty of advert fodder now. Revolution. Now, Sutonia, you had some strong words a moment ago about Revolution.
Yeah, they're kind of like Waffles in that they like win a game against a no-name team, then they lose 2 games against any mid-tier team. I assume they have a very similar win record to Waffles. I remember them bringing like insanely bad setups, like tons of times in the Alliance tournament. Like we were talking like undermanned, like 7-man teams with just like 4 battleships and just really weird stuff that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to hear BBP's thoughts on them because the last match, according to my screen here, that they won was against NC Dot.
Was it? I don't think we ever lost against them.
According to this screen I'm looking at,
When was this? That's the question.
He scrubbed it from his
because-
mind. He didn't want to
Well,
remember
no.
this.
So I can't remember. The only times that I can remember us losing.
Oh, that can't be
Is-
true.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
no
it
way
can't be
we
true.
lose to
Tournament
NC.
13.
Oh, Alliance Tournament 13. Okay, yeah, that one doesn't count.
Yeah, that was before Nidusbar and
No,
the...
yeah, that was before Nidaspar was there. So like Alliance Tournament 13, I think we like. I wasn't even on the team. Like most of us that actually played in
Wait,
the 14, 15,
that was
16,
the
or
bear in mind.
16 weren't there.
Yeah, that was the last time that Revolution won. The last 3 they took part in, they lost every game.
Okay.
They did
That
actually
was
haven't
good.
won a game in 10 years, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
like Brett Favre was league MVP and Wayne Rooney was like league MVP the last time that happened. Like it's been a minute.
Okay.
Wow,
So what
Soccer
you're actually
references.
telling us is that
Brave.
they've literally not won a match since Alliance Tournament 13, but
Yes.
I know that they've played in almost every single one of them.
They played
which
Alliance
means
Tournament
they-
15. They lost to Quebec United Legions and Purple Helmeted Warriors.
That's
Okay,
everything you need
They
to
lost
know.
to
I think.
Quebec United Legions and Purple Helmeted Warriors. They are the worst team in the entire game.
Okay.
Oh.
So there
Yeah,
you
like
are.
I said, they always go 0-2, and they always like bring like really weird things. Like they just bring like a 7-man setup that's like not even like a tinker or anything. Like it's just weird stuff all
Like,
the time.
This is the one where we actually really do need like a trash can tier to put these guys in.
Okay, so good luck,
Just
Revolution.
remove him off the
We're all
board.
rooting for you. We wish you the best of luck in your 2 matches going forward.
Unfortunately, they're playing the Tuskers. So
Okay, I changed my mind. I hope they
win.
win. I hope they win just so they beat Tuskers.
They're going to need a lot of that luck.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, if they win, that will be like a bigger upset than the Templars versus Hydra by a long shot. That will probably be like the worst upset in the history of the AT if they lose to, if Revolution beat the Tuskers.
Okay, the next one, we're putting them in the bottom tier. Let's move on.
Done.
The next one is A Band Apart, captained by Mr. Rick Javix. Used to be captained by our very own. God, I've blanked his name.
Jose, right?
Jose, yeah.
Jose Zampano, yeah.
Yeah, Jose Zampano used to captain them as well. He left to join NC and left Ricks to it. They've done all right over the years, having won 9 matches and lost 8. So they're slightly better than average in terms of win record. They have won against some good teams such as Volta.
They beat Volta, didn't they? They
Yep.
put them into the losers bracket
That's true.
in one of the tournaments.
They beat Hard Knocks when Hard Knocks were still relevant. And they've generally, I mean, we used to always, I think they are where the term aggressively mid-tier came from.
Yeah, I remember
'Cause we
you
used to
said. Yeah, you
always
said
call
it
them
first about them, like on one of the streams, and it became like a thing that stuck. So, but like, so I feel like you have to put them in aggressively mid tier because it's their thing, right? But
This
based
is
on their
alone.
I think they're
performance,
better than that now.
yeah, I think they might have actually got better.
Oh, I think they definitely have. I mean, they've done all right in the last couple of ATs, as mentioned. So Alliance Tournament 16, they won 4. They played 4 matches, and then they lost against Test and Castabouts to go out, but they won against Fraternity and Centipede Caliphate. Yeah, I mean, I think they're a good team these days. They're definitely
So what you're saying is they might have finally promoted themselves from aggressively mid tier to just mid tier. They
Yeah.
finally made that
They've
jump.
lost their
It's been
aggression.
a long ride, but
Yeah.
we're finally here.
Yeah.
They're riding the boundary between the two. So in the AT Open, they lost to Laserhawks, beat Literally Triggered, beat Novak in a very close match, and then lost to Brave. Depends on how long ago they lost Jose Zampano. I think losing Jose probably drops him a tier by default.
That was before Alliance
Jose was gone
Tournament
way beforehand.
16.
Yeah.
Okay, then never mind. Then yeah, probably mid tier.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to put them in mid tier. I think they're definitely better than aggressively mid tier now. I would go as far to put them in upper end of mid tier. So they're on the cusp. They're cuspians. If they do well this tournament, I would put them higher. I'd put them on the boundary.
I feel like pointing out that 2 of you have said like they're like on the cusp or they're on the edge, and there is an on the boundary level, which is where they should
but
be
they're
going.
not on the
But
boundary.
they're not on that level.
Oh.
They're on the
They're not.
edge
They're
of
not.
the
That
They're not on
okay.
that particular boundary. They're the one below that one.
Yeah,
You need an extra one for that.
They're on a boundary. They're not on the boundary.
yeah. There's a few
They're on
boundaries
the
here.
125 kilometer boundary.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think they've done great. I hear good things. They're always showing up for practices as well, so they're definitely keen, and I think that's important. So I'm happy to put them on mid tier. if there was a sub tier, I'd put them at the top of mid tier, and I'm willing to be convinced that they're better than this. So, Rex, convince me.
Send $1 billion.
Send $1 billion, exactly.
well,
if $1 billion comes to my wallet, I'm going to put you straight into On the Boundary.
They're playing Volta in the first game, so if they win, I think that's going to convince you a lot.
You're going to
if they
feature
win,
as Nick Ned
I
now.
will come back to this and I'll put them into top tier. So there you go.
But when no one can see it or affect it anymore.
Exactly. I'll see it, and they'll know I've seen it, and that should be enough. Okay, what's the next team? Fancy Pants Alliance. So they are part of Horde, if I'm not mistaken. They're a breakaway. Is that right? So they formed their own separate part.
Because Horde put in an AT team and they wanted to do their own thing, they made their own like AT alliance.
Don't think they have any history. No, they don't. In the Alliance tournament. So unless they've done something to convince any of you that they're not good luck tier because they're new.
Well,
do they have?
I've got a tiny little bit of insight in that they showed up for one of our apprentice practice. Was it 1 or 2, General? I think it was just 1.
1, yeah.
And they were very confused about the whole process of being moved into space and warping to the arena, and that was all very new for them. So they do seem like they're very green to the tournament, and they actually got stomped on pretty hard, and they didn't. So for me, it's probably a good luck tier, but yeah.
They could potentially learn fast, but yeah, at the moment there's so much good luck. But they got the chance. I mean, they're Horde after all. They get fights every 5 seconds, so that's a good crucible to learn shit real quick.
Not bad, I'll give them that.
They play what could possibly go wrong in their first match.
So yeah, they actually have good luck.
Yeah, they do actually have good luck. So welcome to the good luck tier.
They were smart enough to leave Horde, who got kicked out in the feeder rounds. So extremely intelligent as well. Just saying, smart, intelligent, attractive, lucky.
It's going to be amusing as hell if they manage to win a match or two, having Horde lose in the feeders like the main team, but this B tier team's like, hey, what's up, boys? We're just casually in the AT. That'd be pretty legit.
So good luck tier. I say that seems to be the best place to put them. So let's smash them straight into there, just like you all are going to smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, smash the bell, all that good stuff, etc., etc. Plug. Next match, our next team is All Sound Mind. So All Sound Mind have a decent record, I think.
Yeah, they're pretty good actually. They eliminated Exodus from AT16, I believe, or they knocked them to the losers bracket. I can't remember, but they beat Exodus, which are a pretty strong team.
Yeah, they beat Exodus and lost to Try, and Try did pretty all right.
Yeah, Try came third, so they did pretty well.
They also turned up for one of the Opens and did relatively well in that as well, picking up a pair of wins. They're also just a team that has a lot of tournament experience. There a lot of pilots seem to have come back for this tournament run. Ali Aris is back on the team, who was my predecessor CSM when I was running for CSM in Providence. CSM 8 through 9, I believe. So they have some real depth in their bench and a lot of deep SP to use, which is going to be kind of relevant. And now that we are in the real AT and these matches take place on TQ rather than Thunderdome, everyone doesn't have the same SP anymore.
I'm convinced for aggressively mid tier there.
Yeah, you think aggressive mid tier? I was even thinking on the boundary.
I was going to go mid tier with All Sound Mind personally, but I'm between you because they if you look at their AT history, they normally do very well, and the teams that they lose to are always strong competitors, and they have a history of upsetting some pretty good teams too. Like I said, they eliminated Exodus from the tournament last year, and Exodus is a pretty solid mid tier / on the boundary team. So
yeah, so
who's their first match against?
Good question.
They play Ride My Turtle in their first match, so
mid-tier.
I think that by default puts them in mid-tier. They can make top 16.
Okay, exactly. Pushed me straight up to mid-tier.
Let's go mid-tier then. So, All Sound Mind into mid-tier. We've got 3 tiers that are really popular, and then 2 with just one team in the middle. We can't agree between those ones.
I think there's a lot of teams that I'd put on the boundary that we just haven't really talked about yet.
Yeah. So who's next? Deepwater Hooligans are next.
That's another team that had a good showing in the EVE Opens. They actually got through to the Invitational. Can't quite remember how they did in it because I was commentating the whole time. Can someone check the results for me on that?
I believe they lost their first game against Forsaken Empire. So, but they have done pretty well throughout the series. That they were consistent. They were fairly consistent.
Yeah, they made it to the last weekend, the Invitational, because they did pick up several wins, and I think didn't they make it to the finals of one of them?
So they actually won a whole tournament, but it was a tournament in week 3 that featured quite a weak field. So they're a team that definitely can beat up on rogue teams, but they seem to have struggled against higher competition so far. And they also seem to have a real predilection for control setups as well. And given what we've seen so far in the tournament, though, this does seem like their sort of meta. Just going to be a question of who they run up against, I think.
So in the first week they play Esports Petopia. I'm feeling kind of aggressively mid-tier with them. They haven't really beat up any mid-tier teams I can think of. They seem to be kind of hovering around that. We have experience, but we haven't really broken out kind of level.
They need to beat a team that's considered good to really arrive in the scene, I think, is what we're
and
saying.
beat them reasonably well, not with luck or with a really lucky comp versus comp. Actually, properly beat them.
Yeah. Okay.
Put that together, and I'll be happy to put a mid tier.
So are we thinking aggressively mid tier then for Deepwater Hooligans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd put them at at the top of that list though, at the far end of aggressively mid tier. I'm kind of split between mid tier and aggressively mid tier.
Yeah, if there was a one in between those two, I'm with Sitonia. I'd put them in the middle there, but there's not.
But there isn't, so aggressively mid tier. Along with Boundary Experts, who are our current only residents there. Okay,
Right.
so Bay, do the job.
Bay, do the thing.
I've done the thing. While you're eating nuts, do you want me to fill some more time?
No, it's okay. I'm just eating a brownie. Don't mind me.
I don't know why I assumed it was nuts. I don't.
Just
next
assumed,
one, Esports Petopia. Yes,
Ooh,
edible.
good one to talk about.
So Esports Petopia, correct me if I'm wrong here, they're a Chinese group who turned up in Alliance Open.
Yep.
And did all right. No one really knew what to make of them. We didn't have any kind of stuff. They were a small gang group on TQ, and then they did okay. So I mean, for me, my gut feeling is to put them in mid tier.
So for their record, they beat in the Open Brotherhood of Spacers, MLG Twin Turbo, which is basically the Baltrim meme anime team. Then they lost to Weekend Warriors, beat Dock Workers, and then lost to Volta.
Lost to two good teams there, so
yeah, they lost. Weekend Warriors was the team that infamously in the Open came up with that kind of Loki Nighthawk team that no one was prepared for. Really, I'm feeling kind of mid-tier on them.
Yeah, I mean, I say if you lose to only two quite good teams, then the jury's out on you. You've yet to really prove yourself, but you've only lost against good teams, which is not a bad thing.
Well, they played in the Chinese summer tournament, right?
Yeah.
I think they something like that. Yeah, and they did pretty well in that. I can't remember if they were on one team or if they were split onto two, but they definitely got some interesting practice beforehand.
Okay. Mid-tier?
Yeah, I think they're mid-tier, personally.
Did they not come? They were released in the final of that, or when they?
I think they were in the finals, but they got stomped.
All right.
Because the Chinese summer tournament was kind of like there's maybe 2 or 3 teams that were doing pretty good, and they just got wrecked by whoever was the main team, which I don't remember who they are.
Pretty sure.
It was a Platinum, like it was part of them.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Platinum Sensitivity. I could be very wrong, but that's my guess.
We're probably totally wrong, but that's okay. That's what we're here
and
for.
if I am, I'm so sorry because I was commentating that.
My take would be like they are a team who are closer to on the boundary than they are mid-tier. We think of this as a sliding scale, and therefore I would put them in on the boundary personally because I think they're at the bottom of that group. I just think like just my memory of the way they flew really well in Lights Open, their theory crafting wasn't completely down. It had they had stuff to be improved, but they've had a year to improve that now. And I think if they combine a little bit of improved theory crafting with their experience already, I feel that they could be competing for certainly a top 8, maybe a top 4 slot. So my instinct would be putting them on the boundary if that counts for anything.
Strong words. Tell you what, Bay, I'll let you decide. You've got the mouse.
Ha ha.
You put them wherever you want them to be.
I'm gonna put them in on the boundary because I feel like Darkseid are lonely there. So
That's fine. We can't be right all the
They
time.
need a
Don't worry,
friend.
that tier will fill out very quickly.
yeah. I think
Oh yeah,
they-
then we'll have to drag them back into mid tier where they
We'll
belong.
have to do a quick
Yeah.
once over again
Like,
and see who we put in the wrong place.
If I look at the teams below them on mid tier, I'm like, yeah, they can beat them. So yeah.
Okay. Next up is Ride My Turtle. So captained by Cable Uta, Chori, formerly of Volta for a number of years, formed his own team this year, Ride My Turtle. They did okay in the practices, but they didn't really try for a lot of them because they did dartboard meme comps. So the jury is kind of out on the actual quality of their team, I think. Although they have good theory crafting, they have some good pilots, they don't have the actual justifiable evidence to put them anywhere other than, I would say, aggressively mid tier, just through sheer force of will.
Who else is on their team of note besides Chori?
I think
Also,
they
probably
have,
no one because Chori would just shout over them all the time.
I think they have like old Unreloaded players. Like there's a few like AT veterans on his team.
Yeah, the Nully
Like Justice for Hungary is a guy I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
And they came like
Oh.
second in one of the ATs when they were Nully Secunda, that group as well, weren't they? So I think he's adopted a lot of their brain power. So
They have Megalore as well. Okay, so obviously this being a new team that's formed together, they don't have any experience, but I just hear these names and I'm like, there's too much talent to put them like anywhere other than either not aggressively mid-tier on the boundary. There's too much talent there, I think, to put them anywhere else.
I don't know. They don't have any real pedigree other than
Yeah, they've never played an
like,
event before.
individuals. Yeah, sure, but individuals have got together to form like Barcode, for example, had a bunch of like tournament pedigree guys in Alliance tournament. Was it 15 and kind of got dunked
They
on
were-
a few times.
Arco did all right. They were mid-tier. This is a mid-tier team.
I don't know. I'm feeling that they're. I feel it's one of those ones where you would say yes as soon as there's a bit of evidence to back it up. Whereas right now there's not that evidence. It's only a
But
gut
they
feeling.
did come third in week 6 of the opens after the prize ships were announced as like a serious thing. They definitely tried a little harder in that final weekend.
Yeah, and still only got third.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm bounced between like aggressively mid tier and actually mid tier. As you said, like there's no record to be like, are these guys going to be good together as they are where they were before? Like once we see them a few matches more and see where they actually how they work, they could really jump up and be on the boundary immediately.
Yeah,
They're
actually,
mid tier with
probably
upside, basically.
Yeah, they can go up. It's going to be hard for them to fail. They can't really go much further down.
So looking at the bracket, who do they play first round? They play
Awesome
Sound
Minds.
Mind. That'll be a good match. I think it'll really show if they're kind of just a group of people that got thrown together or if they're a cohesive team. Like you guys said, I think they only have upside.
Exactly, agree there. Like Offside Mound's actually probably the perfect team for them to kind of verse because then we can see where they're going to go. Like, can they actually do this? Because if they can, man, they could be a real powerhouse.
based on how much Cable told me he spent on his flagship so far, he might just be able to solo a whole team on his own if he flies that. So it might be.
Alright,
I
fine.
can't
Mid-tier.
wait to see thing. I can't wait to see that thing explode.
Mid tier, but again on sheer force of will at this point. Slap them into there. Okay.
I'm surprised Cable has any S left over.
I get the reference. What could possibly go wrong is the next team.
Lots of things.
I mean, they drew
I
Fancy
don't know
Pants
them.
Alliance, so not their bracket
It's a
pick
battle of the no
apparently.
names.
Yeah. I mean, did they do anything in the opens, like at all?
No, we haven't really seen anything from them.
All right. Well, I mean, by default, then straight into good luck tier.
Yeah,
'Cause we don't know
good
who
luck.
you
Don't know
are.
who the fuck you are. We won't be seeing you for long.
I think they
Yeah.
bought their way into the tournament as well, right? I don't think they were in the feeder round.
Yeah, they built their way through. They didn't go through the feeder rounds.
Wow.
Someone
Well,
had
I
deep
hope they at
pockets.
least get one win then. Otherwise, it's kind of unlucky to buy your way in and just get dumpstered straight back out again. But we'll see.
Valued contributors to the prize pool.
Exactly. Thank you for your contribution. The other teams, thank you for that. Next up, we form Volta. So I'm dragging mine straight to the top tier. There we go. Right
Ooh.
in front of the top tier.
I
Okay,
mean,
now moving
if
on.
they can
Sorry, I
count to
said moving
3.
on. I said moving on.
No.
How many teams are we putting in top tier?
I want to
though,
hear
really?
everyone's take on this one.
Oh, okay. So Volta, I think, is between on the boundary and top tier. I think it's hard to put them like completely in top tier, but they're definitely on the boundary at least.
At
If
the
not,
bare minimum.
yeah.
Okay, so Volta, as of late, they got 4th place in the Alliance Open. In the Angry Games, they got knocked out by AP Stole My Fit. AT 16, how did Volta do? They got knocked out by Tuskers, I want to think, say in top 8. I think by default, if you have a top 4 finish in Alliance Open, we kind of have to put you in the top tier. But the difference between them and the other top tier teams is they get knocked out by the teams that are on like tier immediately below them, whereas say Hydra and Tempest just don't. So they're kind of they're riding the boundary basically.
Yeah, they're high, boundary or low top tier. It's right in between those two. Depends on the day and the time and the weather, I guess, because it's hard to tell with them
Oh,
sometimes.
I feel like it's safe to put them in top tier because, like, I don't know. I hate to say it because it's probably going to make our number one subscribers, Goonswarm Federation, sad, but the Anger Games is absolutely nothing like any of this other stuff. It's a 7-man setup. So losing in a 7-man setup, but then consistently being a top 4 team in the Alliance Opens, which is pretty much the same as this with slightly different point costs. In Alliance Tournament 16, which is an Alliance Tournament, they've always done good in Alliance Tournament 15. That makes them a top tier team. If you get top 4 consistently, you're a top tier team. Just the way it is. Unless they've somehow lost all of their members in the last year, which is totally possible.
The core of the team has been the same for a number of years, including when they won the whole thing as part of Verge of Collapse. So that core of Annie Gardet, Starfleet, Theronth, and I think Control Freak might have come in around that time as well, but maybe not when they won it. I can't remember. Plus he's French Canadian, so he doesn't count. They are still there, and some of the supporting pilots have changed, but the core theory crafters, I mean, for me, in my unbiased opinion, I think they're still a top tier team. I agree that it's perhaps slightly more uphill for them than some of the other top tier teams because they have had a few matches they've dropped where they shouldn't have. But yeah, for me, top tier.
Yeah, one of the I'm also voting for them to go into top tier, but one of the interesting things is their matchup against the Minions. The Minions seem to be the absolute kings of the best of one, and we'll get on to them later, but they've now lost 2 in a row to them in the first round. So, this is what you were talking about. They can lose to these rogue teams, considering the Minions was someone who we'd put in good luck tier previously when we were coming through the feeders. For them to be consistently losing against a team like that is moderately concerning, but also a great sign for the health of the tournament. It shows us that these ancient gods aren't quite as unkillable as they maybe once have been.
Speaking of ancient gods, I'm just going to throw on the screen here. I told myself I wouldn't show this off before the actual tournament.
Don't do it!
But I can't resist because it's too cool. So we've been working on a new tool using our stats database of data from ATs that go back to like 17. So I think I did look this up before the Alliance Open, and Starfleet Commander before the Alliance Open is the player who's taken part in the most amount of Alliance tournament matches, and he's obviously the team captain of Volta. And you can see there 24 matches he survived and 18 that he's died in. It looks like they had a really good run in AT 14. So yeah,
Yeah, they came third or fourth in I think they came third, right, in AT 14.
I think that's right. Oh, I can't wait for you guys to see the rest of these tools. This is just a smidgen. This is what I've been looking at. Me and Babe been looking at in the background when we're talking about win-loss stats and things like that. We have access to a whole bunch of data, and Vitor, our tech guy, who's put together these incredible displays, has been doing an incredible amount of work. Speaking of, Legitimato subscribed. So thank you very much for your subscription. If anyone else wants to drop a Prime subscription, it's free on it. We use that money to pay for the servers that run this kind of information. So we have a big database, and we're developing. It's not public data; it's private. We've been developing it and collecting it and turning it into these amazing stats for your viewing pleasure. You would have seen some of it during Alliance Tournament 16. You would have seen some of it during Alliance Open. You will see more of it during Alliance Tournament 17. There's a bunch of stuff on our website, including the ship designer from. There's Rix. There you are. From Timbre. All free to use. Go on, have a look at it. Any money that gets comes through this channel goes to funding that. So paying for the servers, paying for the websites, that kind of thing. So please, if you do have your Prime subscription, feel free to drop it on us. We very much appreciate it. But if you don't have it, don't worry. Just like, follow, subscribe, share it, and help us reach more people.
I would add that it is our intention to make this to transform these scenes that Vito's been creating for AT to transform them into a website where you can search for yourself or your friends or your teams and stuff. So you can look at ship stats, player stats, team stats, and match stats as well. So
the Open is in it, but we're not including it in these stats, I don't think.
Basically, I didn't record enough detail on the Opens to enter them into the database, but if anyone is really interested in doing lots of data entry and would like to volunteer to help me collect that data by rewatching all the matches, then that'd be fantastic. Get in touch with me on Discord, and I'll definitely take you up on it.
Yeah, a lot of this information was manually gathered by people watching every single match from every single Alliance tournament all the way from Alliance Tournament
Radikos,
7.
before I finished that sentence, Radikos messaged me and said, "I will do it." Legend.
Yeah, but he might start skewing the numbers. Suddenly he just starts that never dies. Radikos never dies.
Yeah, but honestly, wait till you see these screens in AT17 next week. So make sure you tune in for them. There'll be some incredible insights that we can glean from some of this information. Anyway, moving on from Volta, it is another team which I feel are probably going to be riding the boundary between top tier and riding the boundary. It is the Tuskers Co.
Sorry, did we put Volta in top or on the boundary in the end?
I was going to say you shifted away before deciding.
I think we went top eventually, right?
Top tier, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The weakest on top tier, but top tier.
So Tuskers.
Yeah, I feel like Tuskers have to go into the same, but I feel they're in the same kind of subcategory as Volta at the minute, in that they're riding the edges. A few people have described the Volta team right now. They're a great team. They're great pedigree. They're previous winners. They've lost some of the people who flew before. New captain now. It's not Suleiman. It's Mira, who did pretty all right in some of the not AT tournaments.
Yeah, they came third in the Alliance Open. So
yeah, but then they got absolutely turbo stomped by Templars. Like, it just wasn't even close. It was like bang bang, done. Thank you, bye bye. So I kind of feel, and I think they have. I mean, let me go to the stats right now, but I think they're
my
in the same
experience, like
situation.
from memory, I'm pretty sure like they were always the ones that had the best piloting, like full stop, but maybe not the best theory crafting to back it up. Like they always just seem to just have like top god level piloting.
Yeah, Tuskers has always been like the premier like execution team, kind of like Exodus, where they don't really have like this surprise like theory crafting angle that PL or Hydra of old had, but they just like flew like the setup almost like perfectly all the time.
I mean, the last matches that they've dropped have all been to really good teams.
They I believe they were third or fourth place in. It's weird because AT13 obviously Hydra got DQ'd and Hydra beat them before Hydra were in like the third place match. So I'm not sure if they got moved up to third or fourth. And then in AT14 they won against PL.
Yeah.
And then they've always done well. They've always just lost to like teams like Warlords or
Yeah, I definitely feel
They've,
that
they've got a really good win record. I'm just looking at our database: 32 matches won to only 15 lost.
Yeah, they've got a great record, but I think since that happened, that most of that and quite a few of the key players have left. So today's Tuskers team is not the Tuskers team that won, or even came third the year later, or something like that. Like there's a number of them have left. Now I'm
So
not saying
who
they're
was left
bad.
from
They're
last
still.
year?
Say again.
In the last year, who has lost? And actually, I have to agree with what Azur is saying in the Argent. Is like it's very hard to look at this data from like 5 years ago. It's like, okay, in any esport, in any sports team, do we care what happened 5 years ago? Like the teams are completely different. Talent has moved on. It's not the same thing. I mean, it's cool to look at the AT13 stuff and say this happened way back when, but like, who's still even around from then?
Yeah, it'd be
I
like
just
trying to
look at-
talk about Fnatic's CS:GO team and talking about JW and people like that. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they're not even in the scene anymore, like you're saying. I look at them getting third place in the Open a year ago, and I'm like, okay, where else are we going to put them other than top tier?
Yeah,
If you're getting
exactly.
third place and you're only losing to like NC Dot when they were really good, you're only losing to Hydra when they were really good, you're top tier by default.
Dude, I've got a hot take for that one. I think they're on the boundary at best.
No, I think
And-
that I'm going to disagree with VP.
Let VP finish.
No, you gotta let me.
I want to hear his take.
Let me finish. All right. Here's the
We all
thing.
disagree already.
No, it's okay. So here's the thing. They didn't fight anybody good in the Alliance Opens. And the reality of the AT, and everybody like hates it when I bring this up and they're like, you're being a bully. Well, Laserhawks, you still suck. I love you guys. You still suck no matter what. If you get a good bracket, you're guaranteed a top 8 spot if your team is even like remotely competent. So in the Alliance Open, yeah, Tuskers got third place, but they beat a bunch of nobodies and then died to Hydra and Tempest. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, Hydra and Tempest are really good, but they got stomped by Hydra and Tempest. Like, and remember, one of those was like a best of too. They didn't just like, oh, we got one off. They lost. And then on top of that, they've lost people. They had their one win, like Mod said, in AT14, which was 5 years ago. And then they've been kind of slowly going down since then. So,
I mean, I agree by for the most of
Who they lost in the last year though? Like their players.
Well,
apparently good people.
Yeah, I think I don't know the actual number of people they've actually lost, but by the by, I think they're in a situation where if they turn up in Alliance Tournament 17, one of two things is going to happen. They're going to do well, as we expect them as a top tier team, or they're going to do pretty catastrophically bad, and then next year, we'll knock them down a couple of levels. And that's where I feel like they're sitting in that it could go either way scenario. They haven't really proven themselves since they've been like super top tier. So I'm not going to take them out of top tier yet. I'm just saying we've got little asterisks next to them there saying, hey, if you don't fuck this up, you can stay in top tier. But if you do,
I also just got Discord leaks from somebody that basically super reinforce one of the people that they have lost is a pretty key member. That's all I'm going to say on that. On top of that, I'm not going to say anything else than that. But on top of that, somebody brought up a point. It's like they fly really well, but their theory crafting has been kind of like, okay. I think the top tier teams, what makes you a top tier team is that you're going to bring something that nobody's ready for, right? So like, okay, yeah, especially with this year's meta, which we haven't really talked about, but this year's meta is really wacky. And I think if you bring something that's like basic and everybody's seen it, you're not going to top 8. So, if you guys are saying, well, templates fly super good, but then their theory crafting's okay, I think teams that are theory crafting is okay they're screwed. Like you're not top 4ing, which to be fair, you're still gonna get a ton of prize ships, so who cares? But yeah, I'm sticking to my guns here, and you guys can't convince me otherwise because that's what this is about: is being wrong and having passion about
it. Okay, actually, I'll give it to you. If Suli isn't really isn't as impactful, and way back when I was in Tuskers, if he's not there, then I think you're probably right. And I will give it to you that Tuskers in the past has always had very favorable brackets, let's put it that way.
Still for top tier, but I'm again the back end of top tier, same as like Volta. they've got like not only do they have the potential, they've got the great piling we've seen, and they did well in the Alliance Opens, maybe against crappy ass teams. The problem is they always get their ass kicked by the big boys.
I mean, you
Just
say
like- just
crappy
because-
teams, but like, is Test Brave and Laserhawks like crappy? Like they're mid tier.
Yes.
They're not like you
Relative-
know, Waffles
relative
and
When I say
Revolution.
crappy with that, when I say crappy, I do mean like compared to like the big dogs. Like Test and Brave have always been like the gatekeeper guys in the middle that are really like pretty good teams, but they can never quite hold that candle to the big dogs. Whereas Tuskers were always that step above them. So I think they're still top tier for now. As we'll see at the end of this tournament, they might get dropped down.
Is
hard.
Brave and Test in this tournament?
No.
All right,
No.
well, hang on.
Yeah,
let's,
exactly.
Let's take a,
But
let's take
they're
a vote
playing
on this one.
Revolution as
submit
their
the
first
flagship.
game. So.
Let's take
Yeah,
a vote on
let's
this
actually-
one. So, in the production channel that we all have access to on Discord, put an X in that channel if you think they're top tier. Put a Y in that channel if you think they're on the boundary or below.
I'm putting a gif of a cat dancing.
Okay, so I think they're top tier, and I put them in my top 4. So what teams do you think are better than the Tuskers then? Because I have like Tempest, Hydra, Vidra, and that's it. As team,
Volta.
and
Maybe
team-
Tempest,
Volta.
Hydra, Volta. Like,
Volta.
are we gonna have
Exodus,
5
maybe.
top tier teams? I don't know about Exodus. We'll see. We can't say nice things about AP.
I mean, you're outvoted here.
I don't know. I say that they're on the same level as Volta, right? They have very
I
similar.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm going to put them in top tier.
The
I think
vote,
just
the
like,
voters
Volta
decided things.
has-
I think.
Right, so
Volta has the
Volta has
potential
never
to lose.
placed worse than top 8 in like the last 5 years. The Tuskers have never placed worse than top 8 in the last 5 years. Volta have won a tournament like a long time ago. Tuskers won a tournament a long time ago. They both like Tuskers were 3rd in Alliance Open. Volta were 4th in Alliance Open. Like they're completely neck and neck. So I mean, I was a little hesitant on putting Volta in the top tier, but if Volta is in the top tier, then Tuskers are definitely in the top tier.
I agree. I mean, maybe we can do a quick pass at the end and just shuffle things around if we think that we have to. But for now, let's move on to the Ancients. So I know a couple of the guys from the Ancients. They used to be in the Bastards team way back when in Alliance Tournament 13. They're really nice people, and I say that and I genuinely mean it. They are nice people. They're not the greatest pilots in terms of tournament pedigree. They turned up at one of the practices and I think they got skadunked. So I can't really put them anywhere other than the good luck tier, but I do mean it. Good luck. Does anyone have anything else to add on that one?
I have no idea who the Asians are, so
They're an NPSI group, I believe. They work a lot with Spectre and folks like that. They
definitely
did play a
Spectre.
little bit in the opens and got fucking stomped. I wish them luck, but yeah, I don't think there's any argument for them to be above good luck here.
Okay.
Every tournament needs cannon fodder.
Again,
They got
valued
Revolution for
contributors
that,
to the
didn't
prize
they?
pool.
They play Waffles in the first round, so
Oh, there you go. So it could be an interesting
A
match.
battle of the dumpsters.
So the next one is.
yeah,
Go on.
that was pretty straightforward in Good Luck, correct? Yeah.
Yeah,
Done.
yeah.
Cool.
The next one is Wormhole Society. They competed in Alliance Open, if I remember correctly. I can't remember off the top of my head how they did, and
I believe they lost the game.
they went 0-2.
Yeah.
Okay. And
They
turned up
lost
to practice
to
a bunch.
Rat and they lost to Dock Workers.
My main takeaway from Wormhole Society from whenever they've turned up is they're very, very pleasant people and very, very enthusiastic and very, very keen. Just not very, very good at winning matches thus far. But keep it up. Maybe one day.
Oh,
Good
CSP
character.
Aurora's not playing on that team, but her character is in that team now, so maybe they'll just suddenly get good.
Yeah.
What are you
Well, there you go.
implying, Satonia?
Let's put them in.
I'm implying that CSP Aurora has such a positive presence that they're just suddenly going to be really good.
For some reason, their ships have 10% more hit points than normal and 10% more
I'm
damage. I wonder what's going on.
I'm not implying that.
Wow.
I know he
Even the boundary
generally
wasn't always
he generally
140
was not
kilometers.
implying that. That's why I was joking about it.
Oh, I know. I'm just being a dickhead.
Okay, so I'm going to put Wormhole Society in good luck.
There they are.
Anyone disagree? No? Okay. Rote
More power to them.
Capel.
Ooh.
I mean, those are the kind of guys that kind of live the name aggressively mid tier, but I think they're probably just straight mid tier.
Yeah,
Are they?
they've always been mid tier, right?
Yeah, they
No, they used to be
um,
mid tier. They used to be mid tier.
Ooh.
I think they're now
Ooh.
aggressively mid tier.
well, they
Oh.
have one claim to fame, and that's like killing PL in like one of the ATs where they killed a Malice or whatever, right?
Okay, so in the opens, Rote beat Dockworkers, then they beat Frat. Lost to Templus in a fairly close-ish game, it looks like, if these numbers are right, and then lost to Volta. Rote's kind of a team that has never really pushed higher than like top 16 as of any time in the last 5 years, but they push away weaker teams. They're kind of the definition of a mid-tier kind of gatekeeping team.
Like
They're like what Test used to be before Test got good.
Yeah, like
I thought he was going to say
Brave.
something else then.
Like
Fortress
Test
got
and Brave,
bad
yeah, I
game.
put them in the exact same spot. They'd all be mid tier just because they are the gatekeeper. If you can get past them, mate, you've got some good chances. If you can't get past them, you're just like the rest. You're just
I
a
don't know.
shitter.
Do you think that Rote could realistically beat like a Band Apart or Esports Patopia? Or
Yes, and here's
Absolutely.
why. Are you
Absolutely.
ready for this? They have a Nightmare flagship.
Yeah, that's
Ooh.
not
I'm just
necessarily
saying,
a good thing.
That's no, but it's not a bad thing either. We don't know. We've seen Nightmares do amazing things and also sucked really bad.
You saw him do amazing
It's
work in the
the
open.
prepares-
unknown there.
Like, who
the
prepares
unknown.
against a Nightmare flagship? Nobody's like, oh, guys, we have to make sure. What if they bring their Nightmare flagship? Nobody's prepared for that.
Yeah, it's the unknown.
Of course,
of
Rote
what
might
this
not
ship
be
can
either.
do.
We'll see. Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of DPS. It goes fast, like Sanic.
Yeah, I mean, it is so I feel that Rote Capel in like 80, 12, 13, 10, 12, 13, 14 kind of time would have been mid tier easily, maybe even on the boundary. But I don't know. I feel like they've regressed. I feel like they're upper aggressively mid tier, like hyper aggressively mid tier, but not mid tier.
Wait, I'm getting
I
leaks.
think the mid tier.
I'm getting leaks that Brent and Alice Hakate are in this team, which tells me that they're going to be mid tier at worst.
You're gonna stake your reputation on that. You're gonna put it out. I'm gonna give this one to you, moderator. Now,
Brent,
mid-tier?
Brent and Alice Hakate, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
If they have those, then definitely mid tier at worst with only upside. Brent was one of the old Warlords players that was good back in like AT 13 plus. That tells me a lot if they're on the team and doing leadership.
And like everything in mid tier, I have a good feeling that they could probably beat or give good fights to. So I don't see them being any lower than that if we're comparing to the other teams around them in the mid tier area. So I don't see how they can go much
Wait.
lower than that.
Hold up, they have God's Apple, Liam, and Yan. Okay, they might even be better than that. Those are some nutty players.
Yeah, but we can't go on purely on player reputation without having it proven. At least in my opinion, which is why I won't let them go anywhere above mid tier right now. I think they have to stay at mid tier at best. They can prove me wrong. Willing to be
Okay.
proven wrong.
So they play Turbo Feeder Glory, and
That's a
then
win.
the winner of Laserhawks, Baltram's team, and Forsaken Empire in that bracket.
Oof, that's tough. I'd say that's about an even matchup.
I think those will be really good round of 16 matchups.
Exactly. They'll see where they actually are. At the moment, we're thinking mid tier, but they could, like you said, if they can win that in the second match, whew, we could be proven very wrong.
Yeah, I think mid tier. I mean, we say they've regressed recently, but you know, their performance in the open, you know, losing to Templars and Volta isn't exactly you know, a bad run. Especially the Templars game I remember was a bit of a nail biter. It was one of those games where like nothing really happened for 3 minutes, and then Templars just like out executed. But it was like a close match.
When your losses are to the top tier teams, you can't really say like, oh, they did poorly there. No, mate, they went up against the hardest teams you could go against, and they didn't do too bad. Like they go.
I like their name though, so could put them in mid tier. Right.
I mean, the tournament isn't in October though, unfortunately, right?
Yeah. Pardon me, not Laserhawks. Lazerhawks. Laserhawks famously came third in Alliance Tournament something or other, and then everyone was like, "Oh, there's
Famously,
a new
yes.
the new hot
You
shit."
can't remember which one it is.
It's not my job. There's other people to do that. Where was it? Laserhawks. Alliance Tournament 15, did they come third? Something like that. Yeah, 15.
Yes,
What have they done
famously.
since then?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Although they had like by far the easiest bracket out of any team to
Yeah.
get there.
Then they got to the into the position to play the good teams, and they got dunked 2-0, 2-0 against Vidra and then Hydra. I mean, those are not bad teams to lose against. If you're going to lose against teams, at least they're good teams. But it wasn't even close, if I remember correctly. They got to this stage and then just got knocked clean into third place. Like the difference between third and then first and second was a gulf that year.
Okay, so Alliance Open, they beat Band Apart, Waffles, lost to Tuskers, and then when they got pushed down to the lower bracket, they lost to Warlords of the Deep in their first lower bracket match.
Also, it's quite possible that none of the players from previous Alliance tournaments are actually in the Laserhawks team this year, because our stats thing says that there's no veteran players. So it's very, very possible that it's a completely new team.
Yeah, I'm only going back 1 year because it's hard to know with the last AT having been so long ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they kind of fluked themselves into third and then got found out pretty quickly. And I don't see them actually as a particularly good team. And because I don't think there's any of those players still there, I'm going to put them in good luck tier, to be honest.
Who was their first match again?
Who's the first match against? It's against Baltrom and his animated role players.
Well, that'll be a
If
good
they
match
win-
to see if they're serious or not, right?
Exactly
Yeah,
that.
I don't know. I'm feeling it's 100-0 against them.
I think you guys are. I think you're being really harsh on Laserhawks. Like,
That's the point of this whole stream, Bay.
I know. I just.
What we're meant to be doing, but we're being too fucking nice.
It's my prerogative. Laserhawks are shit. They're in the bottom. We're moving on.
Does anyone want to fight Ithaca on that before we go on? Are we just going to bend? Just like.
No, I'm glad that somebody else said it, because I've been saying that about them for like years, and they've never proved to me wrong. And then everyone's like, "Yeah, you're being so mean to Laserhawks." Yeah, once. Do you know who's also come third once? Not in CDOT.
Yeah. I think maybe 1 tier above, like aggressively mid-tier. It depends on who's coming back. I don't know who's on that roster. It's hard to know if they have some of the... Even when they came in third place, they had to beat someone to get there, which means you're better than bottom tier.
Yeah, but
they're not
way,
good.
If you got to third place by beating, for example, Waffles, then Revolution, then I don't know, Wormhole Society, right? Have you really earned that third place, or have you just kind of looked into it? And I feel like
you had great chances to fuck up.
We all agree that they looked into that third place. That was the easiest bracket in any AT ever. But yeah, no, at the bottom tier or the one above that, aggressively mid tier is what we're calling that.
I think I'm going to call it now. I think you're going to be really wrong. I think they're going to get at least a top 16 slot, and they should be fighting for top 8 for sure. I think.
No,
hey, we can bet on it. It'll be exciting.
I disagree. I think they're a top 128 team at this point.
Yeah, at least top 96. Let's be real.
All right, I'm gonna put them at the bottom, but I don't like it.
Okay.
What? Put them aggressively mid-tier or mid-tier? Like they
aggressively mid-tier.
I'll agree with aggressively mid-tier. We can put them as but they're like aggressively mid-tier.
Is that allowed, Ithaca? We go aggressively.
I mean, if someone, I tell you what,
if we look at the tier list,
if you can find a single pilot in their roster who flew in Alliance Tournament 16 or 15.
Yes, I know it's the same team captain, and he got burnt out after that, and he's coming back. So that's why.
Fine. I'm a man of my word. Put him in aggressively mid tier. I don't like it, but I'm willing to accept it.
Radicos in
we
chat.
need more teams.
I'm already tilted. We're tilting so many people in chat. Chat is getting spicy. I love it.
How magnanimous of you, Ithaca. We are all grateful to be basking in your shadow.
We haven't even talked about the best top tier team yet, Tishu. Like, come on, we're getting there.
We're getting there. Okay, so moving on. Fraternity Dot.
Ooh, this one's tough. I think mid tier. They were really impressive in the feeder rounds. I thought they looked like one of the better teams there because they just executed really well of that double EOS comp.
Yeah, I agree. It's not even. I wouldn't even say it's like a hot take or crazy thing. Like they're definitely mid tier, if not. I wouldn't say they're quite like on the boundary, but they're
Getting
crawling their way up there. You know, they have
Yeah.
so much experience flying blinged out Vargers and ESSs. Like that's going to translate to the AT.
Yeah, they've won 10 matches of their last 16, which I think is a pretty good record. Beating some decent teams through that. And their last bunch of matches lost are all against what we're considering sort of mid-tier teams. There was Barcode, Band Apart, Thermodynamics, Rote Capel. So I agree. I think they're fairly easy. Drop them straight into the mid-tier.
Okay.
And we're very much going to look to see where they go. I want to see what they do.
Azure says,
I
and
got
I think
hopes for them.
I think Azure is the team captain for Goons. I think he is.
He is, yeah.
He said, "Look, we can all agree these ratings are suspect with Goons form at mid tier."
Yeah, you're right, Azure. They should have been on the good luck tier. But
What's
we're feeling a
happened,
bit nice
Azure,
today.
is you've given us a glimmer of hope and we've latched onto it and think, hey, maybe Goons are the new PL when it comes to tournaments. Maybe it's your final time. Now PL are long gone and long dead. Maybe you're
Their time
finally
to
got a
shine.
chance. Yeah, exactly. I'm willing to have my hopes crushed once again because every year the Goons are in and every year I hope they do well just because I think it'd be funny. And then every year they don't. So please try. Okay, so Fraternity goes straight smack bang in the middle. Who is next? Hard Knock Citizens. Okay.
I think it's good luck there.
Yeah, good luck tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, who?
Really?
Well, they never really did that good back in the day. And
I'd
And
faith
it's a
in them
long day
once and
since their
they
heyday.
lost, so.
So Tony,
it's
your
been a long time.
Your memory's better than mine, Tony. But I have a feeling they did like really well in one of those Neo tournaments, like top, like they were in the finals.
That was
or
like
something.
8
It might-
years
You
ago.
didn't open.
That is a
no,
long time ago, but I feel like I ever since then I've always thought they're pretty decent.
No, they didn't do well in the Eden Open tournament. The
Okay,
top
I
teams
clearly-
were like Hydra, Camel,
Okay.
Weeher, and Exodus. I think.
I clearly made that up.
Yeah. Also, this tournament was literally a decade ago. So
Yeah.
Yeah, like normally they'll like beat two trash teams and they'll go like 2-2, or and then they'll just lose to anyone who's put in any amount of effort.
Yeah, I mean, their stats say they've won 10 matches and lost 6, which isn't exactly a bad record. And then the last match they lost against was Hydra, Band Apart, Fraternity, Volta, and Exodus. And then the last matches they won against was Castabouts, Fidelis, Constance. Wow.
Yeah, like I said, they beat the bad teams and they lose to anyone who's put in
Out of
any effort.
sight. Official winners of Takeshi's Castle and Try. But that was in like 2014 when Try and Exodus. Well, Try wasn't that good, but Exodus were.
I can tell you what happened right there. They had Hoodie Mafia, and then they did good. And then he left to join.
That was it.
Because he got tired of having to carry them to like the top 8, and then Tuskers was good, and then all of the players from our favorite Wormhole Corp alliance became tournament irrelevant. That's the entire story in a nutshell.
Didn't some of the pilots from Outbreak end up in Hard Knocks as well? Like around about like Summit 13, I think they had a pretty good run because.
None of those players are still tournament relevant to this day, though, is the thing. Like, everyone there is either quit or is on other teams.
So what are we thinking? I'm feeling like I want to put them into good luck tier. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, good luck.
Does anyone disagree with that? First of all, before I get into an argument with you all.
Good luck are aggressively mid-tier. Has anyone seen them, like, in practices? What have we seen out of their team? Like,
they haven't come to practice, right? They're not in the list. I don't see them in the list. Therefore, they don't count. Okay. Good luck, Hard Knocks. See you in the losers bracket. Right. Bright Side of Death. So
I
think these guys. I think these guys are actually really good. I think they're probably on the boundary. I'm going to put them on the boundary anyway, based on their performance in the previous.
In the feeders of this match, they did really well. Like they brought out we saw like the whole like Nighthawk Rush stuff, all that stuff going on. They brought the armor version and managed to just stonewall people. So I'm hopeful for them. I honestly expect to see them do really well. And also, I've had good memories of fighting them in TQ, so I think honestly on the boundary they got potential, and they
So
beat some.
in the feeders, they played Brave Collective and Electus Matari and completely shut out both teams 100-0.
Yeah,
we were
and
expecting Brave to be right.
they were I believe they came top 8 in the Alliance Open. They were in the AT 15. They made it to the top 8, and they also made it to the top 6 in AT 16. So they've been top 8 in like the last 3 tournaments they played in, and they knocked out some good teams.
I mean, I'm feeling like they might be the first to join on the boundary. For me,
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think they're top tier, but I think they're definitely. I mean, I'm just looking at the last matches that they've won against. They won against Castabouts, Laserhawks, Salt Farmers, Weekend Warriors, and MC. And the last matches they've lost against is Tri, Hydra, Volta, and Laserhawks. So, but that when they lost against Laserhawks was in Alliance Tournament 15, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think a way of looking at it with them is they're a team with potential. Like they were already mid tier, but this current feeders we've seen, they're showing some real good potential. So I think they should really jump up to the boundary because of that. Like they're on a run. They could maybe make something big out of this.
Yeah, I mean, placing top 8 consistently and also like getting upsets against mid tier teams consistently is pretty good, I think.
Okay, I'm convinced, so I'm happy to put them on the boundary. I feel like they could maybe tickle the testicles hanging down of the top tier teams if they got a good matchup.
And I honestly want to see them do well. Like I've had good memories of them in TQ, so they're one of my like hopeful bets.
But in AT 15, how did they do? More importantly, because that's what
they were top 8 in sorry, AT 15 they were top 8.
Oh, there you go, straight to top tier then. So that's it. AT 15 is the yardstick.
So they lost that Laserhawks in AT 15, which we don't really think that highly of Laserhawks, but in AT 16 they were top they're top 6, and in Alliance Open they were top 8.
Yeah. Now moving on. Go on, Mod. One last point.
Oh yeah, they don't beat teams in the top tier, but they basically beat everyone below. By default, you're on the boundary. Best of luck. I hope you guys get top 8 and do well this tournament.
Nice. Right. So moving on. Platinum Sensitivity. Earlier on, I said Prismatic Legion won the Alliance Event Alliance Tournament Opens Invitational. When in fact, Platinum Sensitivity won the Event Alliance Tournament Opens Invitational.
I love it every time I can just see your brain trying to remember that.
Is that the actual name?
I think we called it the Open Series Invitational, but yeah.
I'm never sure. It's too many words.
It was too many words. It just kind of evolved. It didn't really.
The open,
it wasn't really pre-planned.
Opens.
It wasn't my pre-planned things. It just kind of evolved out and just like, yeah, let's do some tournaments.
Because it's an open invitational to open practices. So it's the Alliance Tournament.
Look.
Open practice, open invitational.
When we started it was going to be nice and chill, and we didn't have to worry about the name. But by the end of it, it was a little bit more exciting.
So I'm just going to point out they're the only team in Alliance Tournament 17 that has won a prize ship yet, which by default makes them top 16.
And if my memory serves, I'm pretty sure they're the guys who won the CS as well. I think I could swear they're the guys that won the CS this year. So honestly, I want to put them on the boundary. They've been showing some good promise. They've got a good recent pedigree. Like they could probably make it. They've got a good chance to make a good run here.
Yeah, Platinum Sensitivity kind of remind me of like Tom Daly as a diver, in that he always tends to choose pike maneuvers when he's diving. They and that's the same. And those are more difficult, but they come with more difficulty points. And I think that's much the same with Platinum Sensitivity. They always come with these really interesting, quite intricate comps, where you've got to dip in and out and kind of manage your opponent's actions quite well. And I feel like Platinum Sensitivity are going to take great advantage of that when it comes to the final.
This is why Wikipedia was a mistake and should never have been created, because you can just Google your wiki sports things
Jesus Christ,
and
Jim.
make them up.
What the fuck was that?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was the best weirdest thing ever.
Clip it.
The internet was a mistake. We should get rid of it. We're done. Just EMP us all right now. Let's go.
What the fuck was that, Jim? Jesus Christ.
I mean, it's the greatest analogy we've had yet. So,
It just came out of fucking nowhere.
I mean, Jen, I think you've deserved the right to decide where they go.
I'm definitely putting them on the boundary. They're a great team. They were great to watch, and I can't wait to see what they do in the AT.
There you go. Platinum Sensitivity diving gloriously straight into on the boundary, splitting the water in the tight bathing suit of a Studley diver. There you go.
Oh,
Okay, NC dot.
Sorry, I definitely zoned out a little bit there because Rick's sent me a screenshot I really liked, and I got too involved in looking at it. Where did we end up putting platinum sensitivity?
On the boundary.
Brilliant.
like anyone on a diving board.
That was brilliant. Sorry, I totally interrupted your flow there, Ithka.
That's fine. It's not as if I'm busy. NC dot is next. So
Bart.
no, hang on. Let me just right click on Bart on Discord and
Right-click mute.
server mute. Okay. So what do we all think about NC dot this time?
I
my God,
think
you
on the
actually did it,
boundary,
man.
He
personally.
actually server muted.
You actually good at him.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. They've been really good. I would put them top tier, but the problem is that the Nudispar core of Shiva that has been making them god tier and top 4 as we all synchronously drink water. They're not there anymore, and that team basically carried NC Dot to top 4. I'm feeling like a boundary to mid tier, honestly, without that core.
So
Could be worse even. They're a total unknown without
So
that.
we said
core.
previously we had a team that had only place it had to go was go up, right? I think NC is the only team that has the potential of only just going down. I don't see them coming back up the top tier. I feel like they're coming down from a great high, whereas the other team we talked about, I can't remember who they were going upwards. I don't know if I'm
NC's
the only
matches
person-
in the feeder rounds were
yeah.
so good though, because like everyone who bet their channel points on NC like immediately shat themselves for like the first like minute of the 2 matches, with the like triple bad and triple Oracle comp that they NSH decided not to ban anything, so they bought Sleipnirs and Lokis, which are have great resistances too. And then that second match where was it Caladrius like bombed them at the start and they killed like one Sleipnir like in 10 seconds because their bombs were like slightly off and only got the one Sleipnir.
Yeah, I'll just say, so no Jose, no Nudispar, no Bap, no Jordan, no Travis Muskrat, no Kraylor, no chance at doing any better than like top 8 to 16. Basically, you can't lose all of the players that made you a top 4 team and have a chance to do that in the team in a field that's as good as it is this year.
So we're saying mid tier then.
I would say probably aggressively mid tier. Like the only reason why we're not good lucking them is because of the name, right? There's nobody on that team besides. I mean, so Anvari was tri-team captain, so that's pretty good. He was tri-team captain when I think they got 3rd, and then Colonel Kurtz was on it. But other than that, everybody else is totally unknown. So I would say like aggressively mid tier until they prove themselves, right? Like if we're putting all of these other teams that are like, well, who the heck are you guys? You got to put them in the same spot. And also I got to do a total shout out. The reason why Nidus isn't here is he actually just had triplets a couple days ago. So if you guys have him on Discord, please say congratulations to him.
Hey. That's cool.
So BBP, are you still in NC dot?
No, we haven't. So Burn Eden hasn't been an NC dot basically since the last Alliance tournament. So, yeah, I don't know why everyone's always like, "Oh, you're an NC dot." It's like, no, not for like 5 years now. But yeah.
Oh, I just remember you were saying that you were like coaching them or giving them advice or something.
So I was kind of helping them out at first. I was going to fly on their team until commentator stuff happened. And then I remembered that flying on tournament teams is really, really difficult and a lot of time. But talking about spaceship games, and you don't really need to know what you're saying. You can just talk about them. So it's way more easy. So yeah.
Jeez, found my secret.
I've gone on a lot of practices with them. They're definitely not bad, but And they made it through the feeders, which is better than half the teams we've seen here that all just paid their way in, right? So
True. It's a good point, actually. Making the way through feeders is definitely something. It's better than good luck, I would say, then.
yeah, absolutely. Like, I would say aggressively mid-tier or mid-tier. Like what moderator said was spot on there. So
I'm going to say then we should put them into aggressively mid-tier. Because I think they do have to prove themselves. And if they do, then fantastic. But if not, well, we're going to get shit on. Does
I'm
anyone
still for at least
disagree?
mid-tier, but I get what you're going for. I
So,
still think
so
they could
we're
drop
putting
down
NC dot below goons.
That's correct.
Oh.
We are putting NC dot
that's
below.
fair. That's
spicy.
absolutely fair.
Do you know who NC dot are above though? They're above everyone in the good luck tier and also Pandemic Legion, who aren't here.
How the turns tabled.
Exactly. Now, Odin's Call.
Ooh, this is a tricky one.
Between mid-tier and aggressively mid-tier, I'd say probably more towards mid-tier because they have been practicing a lot and they did take part in the Opens and do pretty well and got invited to the Invitational.
Yeah. I mean,
Something that is worth noting is that they were really good in the Opens during the earlier weeks where it was less competitive because people hadn't got an idea of the stakes yet. 3 of their wins, for example, came using triple Vargas, which I don't expect we'll see in the Alliance tournament proper.
So
You
they
just don't believe hard
competed in Alliance Tournament 16 and they lost both their matches. That was their first foray into the tournaments. Then I remember they competed in Alliance Open. I don't remember off the top of my head how they did.
Yeah, I can tell you. In Alliance Open, they beat Dreadbomb, Seven Sins, and then lost to Pen is Out, and they played Brave and then lost to them. So
Yeah, that's making me think more aggressively mid-tier now then.
yeah, aggressively mid-tier is kind of pretty fitting for what we've seen out of them in the last year and a half.
Okay, I mean that makes sense to me. I say that they've got potential to come out of this tournament with a mid tier or higher ranking, but as what they've shown so far, I think putting them in aggressively mid tier is probably the best place for it. Again,
I think it just
another team
depends
that
if
turns
they've
up to a lot of
learnt
stuff, and they're
anything.
very nice people.
It depends if they've learned anything from the Opens or if they've maybe been holding something back and they were just mucking around the Opens as well. We'll have to see. Like maybe they've been having some good comps like in the back ready to go for the actual Alliance tournament. But
Maybe,
at least in the
and
Opens
we've
they
not
showed,
seen them yet. So if
not
they
too
show
bad.
them, then fantastic. But
Yeah.
until then, there's nothing we can do about it. Psychotic tendencies,
Good luck.
also known as tissue.
I don't know.
I don't know if they're good
know.
luck anymore. I think they've kind of
Yeah.
proved that they're aggressive. They've
No, it's
moved
still
up
good
a
luck.
tier.
That's what they deserve to be, just in good luck. They're never meant to leave. They have to stay there permanently.
Sounds like somebody has been dumpstered by them several times.
So Tissue are one of 2 teams in the feeder rounds that went 200-0. The other team being a rival, I believe. I don't think you can fluke to 100-0 victories. I mean, they beat a relatively underperforming initiative team, and then they beat the Celestial Empire, which it's wasn't great. They banned Noctis and Dragoon in that game.
I will say, in that tissue match, in it definitely has had some outs that they lost, and I think they were kind of unfairly put into that bottom tier team because, well, people hadn't seen anything from tissue. What we did see from them in the last couple sets were they flew just mechanically well, just like better than anyone kind of thought they would. They looked pretty solid in those matches, I gotta say. I'm feeling they could be mid-tier to aggressively mid-tier. The only reason I'm not putting them solidly in mid-tier is because, well, they haven't really beaten anyone yet. We haven't seen a lot out of them in like any other opens. They definitely have upside though.
So their captain is a guy called Blood of Gods, who previously was a pilot for Hole Control, and also I believe was the captain and alliance executor for Immediate Destruction when they had a team. So he's actually flown in 8 matches, survived in 5, died in 3. So he's a relatively experienced pilot. Immediate Destruction won 4 of their matches and only lost 2. So again, they only lost against Volta in the initiative, beating Black Legion snuffed out the Bastion End of Life. So there's some good, reasonable sort of mid-tier pedigree in terms of the pilots, at least from the captain point of view. So from that sense, I would put them possibly into somewhere between mid-tier and aggressive mid-tier. I'm not convinced.
So
On a personal
if it
level,
helps,
I
they
think they're
play
horrible people,
minions
and I
and
would put them into
goons.
good luck. But on a team basis, I would probably put them maybe aggressively mid-tier.
Yeah, for the
I'd say on a
banter
team-
alone, if we're gonna put
Yeah.
it back in that good luck tier, I mean, come on, you
No,
can't let them
so
out the good
here's the
luck tier
thing,
until
though.
they've won the tournament. They have to be.
They
have to play well.
have extremely high team morale, though, possibly the highest of all teams' morale, which gives them an automatic boost into mid tier. And then, like on a more serious level, like they clearly have a decent idea of theory crafting. Like they won 200-0. You can't just do that on a fluke. So I don't know who are they up against. Like I'm gonna
The
say mid
minions,
tier.
They're going to be really tested.
Ooh,
if they
cool.
beat the minions, then I'd say they're solidly mid tier.
They
But they
play
haven't,
minions,
sure.
so they're
and then the
aggressively
winner of that
mid-tier.
plays Goon Swarm. I feel like they could. So they're starting in the bottom half of the bracket because they went in through the feeders. But yeah, I mean, those are going to be two sets I really am going to be enjoying watching a lot. See what they can prove to us.
Yeah, I'll say aggressively mid tier. But if they beat minions, like they're definitely at least mid tier, if not higher. So, but we haven't talked about minions yet. So
Yeah, they have a pretty comfortable bracket. I mean, I think the minions is probably going to be their biggest hurdle up until they get to the semis in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, I'm happy to put them in aggressive mid-tier. I don't think they can go higher. I don't think they can go lower. And speaking of the minions, they're next on the list. So where do we think the minions are going to go? Now, the minions have had a really good showing in the Open Series. They've beaten Volta twice in a earlier matchup, and also in the Eventy Alliance Tournament Opens Invitational Open Series Opens for the Alliance Tournament prize chip. So you would like to think at that point both sides taking it fairly seriously, and they came out with a win, which is pretty good against what we've marked as a top tier team. So are the minions the the Tempest Calcif of this year? Like, are they the dark horse, the underdog that's going to upset some big teams?
I've got the minions fifth on my power rankings, so they are right on the edge of that top tier for me. Like I kind of would put them in top tier along with Platinum Sensitivity if we were doing things in my
I
sort
feel
of
like to
way.
get into the top tier, you have to have at least like a top 4 kind of finish in recent years, like the last sort of 4 tournaments or so. I think everything else says yes, but until you actually have that, I think then that's perfect definition for on the boundary.
Yeah, so
You're
for
on the
me,
right.
right, I would probably say they're very solidly in mid tier. I'd definitely put them in mid tier. I don't know if I would put them on the boundary or not. That's where I'm thinking.
I mean, until those Volta wins, was it Volta really beat or Vitra? Sorry, which one
They
was it?
beat Volta twice. So
Yeah, if it wasn't for those matches, I would say they're mid tier. But the fact they managed to pull it off twice is like, you've got something there. Maybe Volta's just messing about. Maybe you got lucky. That honestly puts them towards the boundary for me because we've got Volta in top tier. If you could beat them twice,
I
surely
agree.
you're better than the mid tier nerds.
yeah, and they also put up they made Platinum Sensitivity really work for their victory. So
Yeah, I agree. I think they should go into on the boundary. I
If it
think
helps any, they beat Strybog Clade 100-0.
yeah, but Strybog Clade are literally worse than Revolution.
I know. Strybog Clade is dumpster tier, and then Tappy, and then they played Tappy, and that was a really close set. Actually, that was a nail biter. Went down to the very wire. They're mid tier 2 boundary. I feel. I don't put a lot of stock in kind of Volta in the invitational kind of opens. I think it's kind of hard to say how hard was Volta carrying. Were they serious? But I think 2 wins against Volta says, yeah, you're boundary. Where else are we putting you?
Yeah, I think they're a good example of a boundary team. They're they've kind of, I won't say exploded onto the scene in recent weeks because they've not really done much previously in tournaments, but they've shown, well, what we've seen so far, They're very competent. They've got good theory crafters. They've got good pilots. They could do a lot of damage to a lot of decent teams. And I think the
They've got a
top
lot of
tier
potential,
teams,
yeah.
like if you're someone in like Templars or Tuskers, or Vidra, Volta, or Hydra, and you're in the Alliance tournament and you're coming up against the minions, you're going to take them a lot more seriously than you're going to take, for example, someone in the mid tier, Rote Capel, just for example. Right, you're going to take the minions a bit more seriously than Rote Capel, I think, and that alone makes me put them on the boundary.
Yeah,
They're
these
a team
guys
with a lot
have.
of potential.
Go ahead.
No, Jen, go.
Jin.
Oh, okay, well, this is also a team where they've shown quite a lot of stuff in the opens, which is it's going to be interesting to see if people end up trying to ban it out. For example, the Zarmzad was something they used quite extensively in their first run, and and that ended up getting banned out from underneath them in week 6. It's going to be interesting to see if they can effectively force a free ban from their opponents throughout the rest of this tournament, or if they have to bring a Zarmzad somewhat early on to cement it as a key ban for one of their opponents.
Yeah, I think the minions shown probably the most in terms of theory crafting in the opens because they brought a ton of like armor core setups, like the sacrilege core. Like they've done a lot of like triple battleship core setups. They've done like armor bar guests as well, which was pretty amusing.
That was good.
Okay, let's put them in on the boundary and then look at Arrival as our next team. Does anyone have anything to say about Arrival?
Yeah, they're the Weekend Warriors team, right? And they performed pretty well in the Alliance Open. Of course, they made basically the flagship setup for that tournament that defined the entire meta.
Can I just check?
Yeah.
BBP, are you muted?
No,
All right.
I don't think so. Did you mute me?
No,
Hello?
it's just
Hello?
you're giving all your takes in Twitch chat. I want to hear you say them out loud.
Why would I do that when I can engage our extremely awesome viewers who are going to like and subscribe in Twitch chat?
Don't forget to redeem all that stuff in your queue, by the way, BVP.
Yeah, I need
Also,
to. Look at these skill points. Woo!
Arrival, like Tissue, with Tissue, they're the only team that went 200-0 through the tournament, so they're incredibly dominant throughout the feeders.
So my feeling on Arrival is based on their pedigree from the Weekend Warriors, who they are. It's the same team in Alliance Open. They did pretty well, only losing to some fairly established teams. I can't remember if it was Hydra or Vidra, one of the Hydras. They lost against.
Mm.
They beat Warlords, didn't they? In there, put them into the losers bracket.
Yep, they did that, and then did they then lose to Vidra? Can't recall, but I know they beat a good team. They lost a good team, and they've been practicing hard for this tournament. I want to put them into mid tier. I think they have potential. I think almost upper mid tier. I don't want to put them on the boundary yet. I don't know. Maybe.
I think they're on the boundary personally. Because they've taken wins off of
Kelsey,
our
yeah.
top tier teams. They've been consistently just destroying mid tier teams in very convincingly.
I agree. On the boundary.
So,
I agree.
quick thing from the Angry Games. I know it's a totally different format, but they went 0-2 in that. Was that after they split into a rival, or was that still the same group of people?
I think it's the same group of people, but I don't know if they put the same amount of effort in.
Because they lost to D-Line Force and Waffles, like 100-0 in both sets.
2 strong teams.
So, I think that by default knocks you down a tier, losing to literal who teams.
Okay, fine. If you hadn't lost those teams, then would put you in on the boundary, but you've still got something to prove, so we're going to put you in mid tier. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, mid will be fine.
Sounds about right.
Okay, let's put them in mid tier. Arrival, you're mid tier. Next up.
We got a raid from Pando.
Oh.
Hey Pando, how was your stream? I guess he was doing AT Chat. Was it Bjorn today? Was it?
Yep.
Nice. Bjorn's a cool dude. Bjorn. Howling Wind, one of the guys from Arrival, has DM'd me some insider information, and he says Anger Games isn't a real tournament.
It wasn't. It wasn't. But Waffles and D-Line Force aren't real teams either. So
that's
true. So it didn't happen. So does
But
that
they're
mean
not
we're
real
moving back
teams
up?
and they're not real tournament. So what does that mean when you lost to both of them?
Is anything real? Let's be
It
honest.
means you actually won if you lost both of them.
Double negative, baby.
Right. I'm going to say then they're mid-tier and move on. So Entropic Thunder are our next team.
I mean, they win team name, right?
Entropic Thunder?
They win
Yeah, they
best.
got a pretty cool logo too.
So in the feeder rounds, they beat Usher Khan 100-0, and then played Outfoxed, where they won 64-19.
Jin.
Jin Tan, tell us about that.
Tell us about that matchup.
I have blocked this out from my memory entirely. What match?
The match when Outfox lost to Entropic Thunder.
No, I don't remember that. That must have been another team.
Okay, can we pull up the replay?
But no. The Entropic brought a really good comp and they executed well with it. There's nothing much more than I can say about that. They seem like a relatively good team, but even with that, they've not really shown that much. As much as I'd love to pick up my own team, I don't think we can say that they're some sort of a top tier competitor that shows some sort of amazing tournament experience and prowess to beat.
So where do we think? Are we thinking, are they good luck or are they aggressively mid-tier?
Probably good luck.
Yeah.
You just
I'd
saying
say
that
good
because you
luck.
lost to them?
No, I'm not there
Mark-
at all. Who would do that?
Well, I feel like they didn't win convincingly though versus Jin's team. So like, does that make them? I mean, Jin, he's being super charitable, but like we've talked about it before. Does beating up like not super great teams make you a good team? No.
Yeah,
Maybe?
if you put two baddies in a room, one of them's got to win.
I mean, the way I'm looking at it is, would they beat any of the teams in aggressively mid-tier? And I'm not convinced they would, so I was happy to put them into good luck.
They play NC Dot. The winner of that plays Boundary Experts.
Well, there you go. We'll
Goodbye.
find out in just over 1 week. So make sure you tune in on twitch.tv/CCP for Alliance Tournament.
Goodbye, Entropic Thunder. It was nice knowing you. See you.
And just
Bye.
quick shout out to Snorbert, who gifted out
Just
5
clip that.
subs.
Nice.
Hey,
Snorbert,
I gotta
thank
make
you
a
very
clip of
much.
myself.
NC Dot loses.
Thank you very much. Sandra.
Oh no. If NC Dot lose, that is both a massive thing for Entropic Thunder to be like they're gonna be celebrating like they won the tournament, and then B, a massive disgrace to NC. Like, that will go both ways so hard. And I will probably be made a clip, so okay.
Wait, Radical's
Alright.
gifted as well? Blimey, yeah.
I missed that. Thanks, Radicos. Oh yeah, he did. He's gifted 14 in this channel, so thank you very much, Radicos, for your continued support.
And also
I'm
to
nerd.
Snorbert with his own gifted subs earlier.
Yeah, he got a bunch of them. So thank you. We appreciate it. Let's move to. We've got 5 teams remaining in this tier list, and the first of those 5 is Exodus. Exodus are a very storied team, a lot of history in the Alliance tournament. Lot of good pilots, small gang style. I can't remember how far they've ever got. Have they ever made top 4?
Yeah, they've made top 4, I think, 3 times, depending on the DQ. They were 3rd in AT11. That moderator was actually the team captain for that team.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were 2nd after. I believe they would have been 4th, but then they got moved up to 2nd once the Hydra DQ stuff happened in AT13. And I want to say they were 4th in another tournament, but I think I might be confusing them with the Tuskers.
Yeah, I see that they've won 31 matches and lost 17. The last matches that they've won against are No Handlebars, CVA, Rote Capel, Thermodynamics, and We Want Your ISK. And the last ones they've lost to are Of Sound Mind, the Tuskers, Hydra, NC Dot, and We Form Volta. So, I mean, is this a team riding on reputation, or are they still good? That's the question.
Well, they had a bit of a mix-up. Like, some people left their team, I think, around AT16, where they didn't do some well. Like, there was a model, I don't know if you know him, like El Diablo, that guy.
El Diablo del Rojo, yeah, good man. He moved to Triumvirate, didn't he?
Yeah, so I remember us talking in like AT16 that there was like 3 or 4 like core Exodus pilots that left to other teams, but they still have like a solid core there.
So
Yeah,
where would you put them then?
Like Vitone and the regular guys from Exodus are still mostly there.
Yeah, they have some reasonably talented, well, more than reasonably talented. They had some pretty talented players that are still around. They're captained this year, I believe, by Oris.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see if he's kind of got the stability and leadership capabilities to put that team together into a cohesive unit that can push. They have War Destined as well, good friend of mine.
Be interested
I
to see
feel like
Boris as
they'll
captain.
probably be
interested to see
okay,
if they're going
right?
to come up with any of
Yeah,
their
I feel like they'll be
Yeah,
decent
like
enough
as long as
talent.
Aris doesn't have to go play any Dota games before the matches, like I don't see why they'd have any issues. So, you know,
I think, like for me, they're mid tier with potential. That's the way I personally look at them. They could do greater, but I just think at the moment they're just in the middle.
So would you put them on the boundary, or would you put them in mid tier then wing that?
I honestly don't know. I don't know enough compared to what you guys know. I just think that they're at least mid tier for sure, but with the parts they've got, they could kick some real rear end.
Can we take a look real quick, slide over to the infographic that shows where the teams are at?
We transition to
In
that?
terms of the history.
No, I
Well,
think just the
no,
tier
I think
list.
it is the
Oh,
tier
sorry,
list.
forgive
Yeah.
me.
Tier list, yeah.
Tier list,
There we go.
Yeah, sorry.
There we go. And where are we putting Exodus then, or are we still thinking about it?
We're still
I
thinking.
He wants to look at so we can guess.
I think they're just better than everyone in mid tier. If I have to be brutally honest.
Yeah, I feel like every match we've ever seen Exodus fly, like they all sort of seem the same. Like even historically and recently, where you watch them get into some kind of like relatively kiting setup, fly it perfectly, and then like absolutely slaughter mid tier teams, and then they get owned by a top tier team. And they've been doing this for years. Like they even did it in I think the last couple of matches we've seen of them, which were this year or last year. So they always fly really really well. They've always felt kind of one trick to me where it's like, yeah, we fly kiting ships and we dunk people that don't know how to beat that. And then they lose. So I'd say on the boundary though, because like you said, all these mid-tier teams, like they're going to have their way with them.
So they played Prismatic Legion and beat them 100-0, and then they played Castabouts and they won 75-4. They were interesting, like the only team I saw like bring like meta from God knows how many years ago. They brought a fly killer setup in 2021 and actually just executed out of their minds with it. I think what it's gonna come down to is, do they have the theory crafting to make use of their pilots or not? But with the roster they have, I don't think we can put them anywhere other than on the boundary.
You got a bit of
Okay.
Tusker syndrome there, eh? Great.
I
pilots,
think
but
they have all of
fucking
the ingredients to be like an incredibly good team. It's just whether those ingredients come together to make a perfect cake.
Okay, so let's put them in. Let's put them in on the boundary then. I don't disagree with anything that's been said. And let's look at tactical narcotics team TNT. I don't know about you. I've already put them in the good luck tier on my one. Don't know if anyone has anything to add.
I think that is fair based on their previous history. Like I can't. I've remembered their name popping up in Alliance tournament history forever, but they've never really done very well, I don't think.
So they played Dead Terrorists in the feeder and beat them 46-70. Then in the Open, I don't believe they were in that event. Were they in Angry Games? They were not. No. Hard to put them anywhere other than like good luck. They've just never done anything impressive.
The last
Ever.
outing in Alliance Tournament proper was in Alliance Tournament 14, where they won against Nano Black and then lost against Complaints Department and Lumpy, and that was it. They were out. So before that, they had a bit of a better run in Alliance Tournament 13. They played 5 matches, going out against Tuskers and Nully, and beating Vox Populi, Circle of Two, and Waffles. So yeah, I mean that's a long time ago though. That's Alliance Tournament 13. That is almost 10 years ago. And I feel like they can't go anywhere at the moment other than good luck.
Prove us wrong.
Prove us wrong. Okay, next up, Snuffed Out. So, are Snuffed Out going to be any good now they can't just warp in supers? Stay tuned. Alliance Tournament 17 kicks off next week. But where are we going to put them in our tier list?
I actually kind of want to put these guys in aggressively mid tier. At the very
Yeah,
least.
they beat Horde, which is well, I mean, not exactly an accomplishment, but
Hey, they also beat Spectre Fleet,
okay, but Spectre Fleet bought like
who
3
might
Phantasms.
actually be the worst team in Alliance Tournament history. If you went back, have they ever won a match? Probably not.
I want to say they've won.
Yeah, they
like,
did
one
bring
game.
Phantasms.
Have
Didn't
they put on a good show,
That
though?
hurts my head. They always put on a great
That's
show.
what I complained
Yeah.
about. That's what I complained
They're
about.
like-
They brought Phantoms instead of like Ultruses.
Yeah, when we start the gladiator matches, they're the people we throw to the lions right off the bat to get the crowd going. They're
we
like,
should
"Blood."
really make like a silver league tournament or something where it's like only teams that have like
I would say like Wood League, maybe
yeah, even
So-
Team Wood League, only teams that have like
Bark League.
Okay,
So
so
I was
I'm
feeling that
actually
there
in
were
Snuffed Out. Not on their team though. They're playing Hard Knocks and the winner plays Templars, so I feel like they can beat Hard Knocks for sure. Obviously not Templars. I love you guys, but I think we all know that's not happening. Aggressively mid tier. I think they're not like in the bottom of the barrel here, but they're probably, I think, in the bottom half of teams that are entering the tournament, with some upside. They've done all right in practices, but nothing like amazing. I can't
Yeah, it's
write
gonna be showing his
them any
pussy right
higher.
now.
Don't throw your cat above your head.
I was just thinking, Snuffed Out feel like a team that goes 2-2 a lot, and then I looked up,
Yeah.
and sure enough, the last 3 Alliance tournaments they've participated in, they've gone 2-2. They have literally
There has
played-
been a lot of rotation in personnel between their previous AT runs and now, though. About 50% of the players in their current team are ex-CVA AT pilots. And I believe Miss Kesha is running it. Is that right, moderator?
Yeah, it's kind of a combination of Miss Kesha and Nuke Michael. I think they have like some good heads on their shoulders, and they're captained reasonably well. But it's a new team for a lot of these people. They're getting used to it. They've got kind of a cohesive core, but aggressively mid tier.
Okay, I mean, I feel like aggressive mid tier is fair enough if they're getting 2-2 consistently. If they get 2-2 this time round, that's beating at least 2 other teams, so potentially 2 reasonable teams. So aggressively mid tier, Snuffed Out. Okay, 2 to go. So we've got Literally Triggered.
Oh, they've been actually quite impressive, I think. So I'm debating putting them in it for me aggressively mid tier or just mid tier, because like they've had like some standout players. Like I think Parkbank, their logistics pilot in his Guardian, has been something that's routinely impressed the commentators with like his positioning.
Not just the Guardian as well.
True.
When he's flying, he's like, just when I'm in the arena doing the camera, I've just noticed his positioning is always really on point. Very rarely lets what he should be repping get out of range, and just flies like 100 Guardians really well, that's a really difficult thing to do. So I've been really impressed by his logic piloting. I would definitely put them mid tier personally. They're not experienced enough, and they haven't proven themselves enough against good teams to go onto the boundary, I don't think. But I definitely don't think that.
Oh, I wouldn't put them that high,
No.
but yeah, that same mid tier.
So Johnny's like, calm down, boys, calm down. No,
but this tournament should be the one where they're pushing themselves and challenging themselves to get into that status.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Alliance Open, they lost to Waffles 86-14, and then in the bottom bracket, they lost to Band Apart 28-72. The feeders, they played Novak, beat them 100-14, and then shut out of the blue. Do we think Parkbank carries them, or?
I mean, honestly, to a certain extent, yes, because having a good Logi pilot is very, very valuable. Like having someone that you can rely on to just focus on the rest of the comp and the rest of the execution.
Hold
And
the whole fucking team up,
some of the matches, genuinely, if the Logi piloting wasn't on point, they would have lost. So I think it gives them an edge, and it's impressed the commentators and us enough over the series that they've been playing in that I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I would put them up there into the mid tier.
Yeah, I mean,
low mid tier. I wouldn't put them upper mid tier. but I think they're better than aggressively mid tier.
Yeah, I would put them mid tier because like in the Alliance Opens, they have beat other mid tier teams. Like they've been beating Test, they've been beating Odin's Call. I think they beat Ride My Turtle as well. So they've been beating teams that we would probably put around mid tier, and they're definitely beating teams in aggressively mid tier. So I'd probably put them mid tier, but again, it's probably more like the same level of Goons, right? Where they've like shown that they can, bring out some upsets, but I don't think they're like necessarily that consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I think as mentioned, they're lower mid tier to the point that if they don't execute very well, they're going to drop very quickly through any power rankings. Like they're clinging on to mid tier with a bare pinky on the edge. I think.
I don't know, man. I think my hunch is they're one of these teams that are gonna other teams are gonna underestimate, and they're definitely one of those teams that they've got a lot of recent experience, and sure, they might not have been challenged with other good teams, but they've got a lot of recent experience. I mean, they're pretty tight as a unit, and they're kind of one of those teams that occasionally in Alliance tournament history we've seen quote unquote good teams. Or like top tier on the boundary teams not bring their optimal setups because they underestimate an opponent, and they're definitely one of those teams where I could see an upset happen because a good team underestimates them.
And this one is actually a unique circumstance for all that. There's been such a big gap that new teams can pop out of nowhere, go against these what would you call them, like ancestral teams, and just wipe them for that reason. So they got a chance in mid tier, but I'm still kind of on aggressively mid tier for them.
Well, they play Fraternity first game, right? So that's a pretty good test because I think Fraternity are definitely like an incredibly solid mid tier team. So if they can beat Fraternity, then I think they're definitely mid tier.
Then they would play local as primary. Those should be two good sets before they run into Hydra and die.
Yep, very good test to see what they've got, and good for them to build up their confidence and maybe give Hydra an upset. Okay, I'm sorry, I couldn't hold it.
Righty,
It can happen. Hydra likes to feed.
The last team, the Secret Gardeners, the Hidden Leaf, Ninja Village, Assassin,
Esports Squad.
The Baltrom anime team, as people keep referring to them as. What do we think?
I really want to put them in good luck just because of that fucking name drives me insane.
I think they're aggressively mid tier personally. Like previously under No Handlebars, I believe they're another team that normally went like 2-2, where they would kill some of the teams that didn't bother except for showing up, and then they would lose to any team that put in any amount of practice.
I mean, does anyone have any advancements on that? Anyone disagree with that?
They have Nike, so they're cool. They could be mid tier. These guys are memers, and they're shit posters for sure. I think
yes, but are they any good?
I know. They didn't want to fight. They didn't want to fight the 3rd, 4th place match in the Open Invitationals. Right. They lack fighting spirit. They have no Bushido honor.
Actually, you know what? That's a good call. They were in the Open Invitationals, so we can look at their how they flew, because that's the one you're going to try hard in, right?
No, I want you to bring up the tier list right now, Bay.
Done.
And I want you to take the Hidden Ninja squad.
Yeah.
And just as they declined to fight the 3rd place squad, I want you to decline to do them in the power rankings, and I want you to leave them exactly where they are.
Just there.
Just there.
A low bomb.
Okay,
perfect. Basilisk's not going to be happy. Actually, he'd be okay.
Is this Weep Weep. We had one anime award, Jin. Don't make us have another.
Oh, the hidden ninja leaf village is so hidden. It's just not on the tier list.
That's what you get for not bothering to turn up for a 3rd place match. Well, there you go. We've completed it. We've officially wasted not only 3 hours of our own time, but we have 172 people watching, which by my calculations means we've wasted 21 days of people's lives doing this exercise. That is 3 weeks. This is where they stay.
Okay.
3 weeks of everyone's combined lives wasted, literally wasted.
I don't know. I've enjoyed it.
I mean, we've
So-
compiled this list, which is inherently probably completely and utterly wrong. What's going to happen now is like the network wins in a grand final against like Waffles or something, and Hydra, Vidra all go out in weekend one, and it's a complete upside down tournament.
So now that we're done having this tier list, do we feel like anyone needs to be moved up or down, or are we? What are we feeling right now?
I kind of feel like Goons need to move down. I feel like
I
we're-
agree. Goons
Yeah.
to the bottom.
Goons to aggressively mid tier.
Yeah,
Goons to aggressively mid tier. Goons, look, Goons' captain has been
Their
sitting
team
here
captain
telling that
says
they're
yes.
shit
So
Yeah.
for like 3 hours. He's been sitting here like, no, we suck. We are so bad. So you know what? For their sake,
fine.
Yeah,
That's
but
just
Goons
typical
always
If
Goon
it,
say
make,
mind
if it
bad.
makes the team captain
Yes.
happy, I'm putting them in aggressively mid tier.
That's typical Goon mind games, mate. That way, when they win even a single match, they're like,
no.
"Oh yeah, we're
It's all the
amazing."
meta game.
like, oh my god, we didn't even try for this. You're like, yeah, okay, guys.
Yeah, sure, sunshine. We totally didn't know it was the last
That
100
stopped
hours of
working
practice.
like 2 ATs ago.
Yeah.
I think we should move a team from good luck up to. We should move Loqua's
Can-
primary up.
Can I make a suggestion? Maybe each person can move one team up or down. One.
All right,
Oh
okay,
no,
that's
that's
I'm
gonna go
going
poorly
to,
real quick.
I'm gonna usurp Ithaca's executive thing of putting Loqua's primary down because they dishonored a 1v1 with a Falcon and put them mid tier, which is I think where they belong.
Oh, okay. Are we allowing this, Ithaca? Are you allowing this shenanigans?
Listen, he doesn't get a choice. That's Satoni's one
Well,
free
what
hit.
he can do
Gotta
is
give it to
when it's his turn, he can move them back down again.
Yeah. Which one are they? I can't remember. Was it these guys with the
It's
wolf and the
it's
shark?
the golden girl with the umbrella.
Oh yeah. Okay, so they're good. So Tony's voting to put them back up to aggressively mid tier. All right then, BBP.
We are going to move Tuskers down to on the boundary.
Oh, I knew it was coming. I
Oh,
knew it was
no.
Oh
coming.
no!
I wasn't going to do
Oh.
it. I wasn't going to do it, but Aris told me that we should move Volta down. And I was like, you know what? Your opinion doesn't matter because you're not on the stream. So therefore, we have done this. And one of you can change it if you want, but then you're wasting your vote.
Let's get around the Maud.
I gotta go back to the slide, man. I don't
He needs to
have
see it.
memorized.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You're thinking too long.
pressure's on.
I'm
Pressure's
thinking too
on.
long.
Someone get the countdown clock going.
Push me.
Push you to top tier.
No. Actually, Tuskers back up. That's
No.
right.
Oh!
You're trash.
How much you paying him?
Listen, if there are, you gotta have. Yeah, there's 5 teams in top tier. That
You're a
seems
simp.
about right.
No, you're sitting here like, I used to play with them 12 years ago. Therefore, they're my
Hey,
favorite.
so did I.
No.
I was in the team when they came fourth.
You know what? I was about to say the S word, which I can't say on Twitch anymore, but you guys know which one I'm talking about. That's both of
Yeah.
you for Tuskers.
Oh,
I mean,
Well,
there-
the one that rhymes with an AT ship.
I did it.
Yes.
Imp. Yeah,
Yes.
The imp, right? The Spiteful.
Yes,
That's what
the
you're
imp.
talking about? The
I'm
Spiteful?
talking about the Spiteful.
Yeah. Yeah, the succubus too. No, I can see it. Tuskers is like between those groups.
Wingnut.
I want to put NC up to mid tier because I want them to have further to fall.
Okay, very well. NC to mid tier. Jin.
I want to put platinum sensitivity from
Tuskers.
on the boundary into top tier.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm with you, brother.
Ooh.
that
I
feels
don't know
like
about
a bit.
that one.
I feel like that's controversial. That's a bit. That's pushing them too far. I think that only sets them up for failure. I think.
Well, you still have a
Like,
vote.
we
mate.
need
You
to
can
have
move
it.
back down.
Bay, you've got to vote. You're the last one on the list.
No, General's before me because General's
shit.
been he's a man of his word, and he won't even tell me what's been going on in the scrims that he's been refereeing, and we speak every day. He won't disclose any secret information, but he does have he's refereed Lights Open. He's refereed the Anger Games. He's refereed the Summer Games. Well, no, he didn't referee the Summer Games tournament, did you? But you certainly streamed it, and you were on every show. And you refereed the feeder round, and you also have done a bunch of refereeing for. Basically, General knows way more than all of you. and he's keeping quiet. And I think he definitely.
That's what if he's gonna just not vote then?
He definitely
No, he has to
deserves to
vote.
move one or
Technically,
down.
I shouldn't vote. I guess.
He's just gonna do a meme vote. Just
No, I'm not going to do a meme vote. I'm going to do a mean vote. Bring Volta down one tier.
Oh! All right, my go. Just because Radicos keeps giving us lots of money, I'm going to move his team up, and also I like him, so he's going to go from aggressively to. I have no idea whether or not they are going to be able to perform mid-tier level, but just because I like Radicos,
just because you like money,
just like money. I mean, Iska, did you ever get any Isk?
Let me check. No, move them back down.
So your vote is to move them back down.
No, I haven't thought my vote yet.
Okay, it's your go.
the
You're the last
vote.
person, unless
No,
Kyle
does Kyle get a vote? He's here moderating.
He's muted, so I don't know if he wants to get involved. But if he does
I
want to
was saving my vote in case anyone tried to move Platinum back down, because me and Jin were on a level about putting them top. So.
Oh, okay.
not gonna lie, I was kind of with you there, but I wanted to see.
Ithaca, check your wallet.
My fucking client. Enrage. Fine. I withhold my vote until I check my client.
You actually
Imagine being logged in.
Imagine logging into this fucking game. Are you crazy?
If I've been baited,
Kyle, are you going to give us a vote, or are you just gonna sit there as defender of platinum sensitivity in case?
Leave it to the weebs to push
Defending,
the anime
absolutely.
up.
All right, Iska, round us off, please.
I'm going to use my vote to put Volta back to top tier.
Hey, I thought you would.
Everyone is shocked.
This way I can convince Annie to give me some ships.
But you're the chosen one.
No, I've had
Bring
my
him
go.
back down.
No, I've had my go.
Yeah,
I moved
Radicus.
I moved Radicus' team up.
Oh, right, yeah, I forgot about that.
So this is the final list then. So we have
This is the final list.
5 teams in the top tier. No, 6 teams in the top tier. 5 teams tickling the testes of the top tier. A bunch filling out the mid. Some aggressive the mid tier ones, and then a bunch of people in good luck. And then Hidden Ninja, Leaf Village, Assassin, bullshit, declining to participate. That sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Bart, thank you for the donation.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Now.
that's it. We've done it. We've wasted loads of time, but we had fun with it. I hope you did as well. And make sure you tune in next week. At is it 14:30 Eve time? Alliance Tournament 17 starts on twitch.tv/Crowd Control Productions. Make sure you watch then. It's going to be awesome. Explosions guaranteed. And who knows, you could win some dank-ass stuff. So I've been Ithaca Hawk. I've been joined by Satonia, BBP, Moderator, Wingnut, Gentan, Discreeder, General Stargazer, Mr. Bayard J himself. I've been Ithaca Hawk once again. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.
Look, you ain't gotta get mad when you lose fights. When you burn out all your guns and lose both flights. Rip drones with your geckos in the cargo. Learn from mistakes that you made, it ain't high, yo. Fucked up, man, I should've been sunside. Got me isolated, up, finna take shots. Get your transversal up for me one time. Love for the blood guys when the sun shine. I'ma burn up and go reshift. I say good fight, I won't talk shit. Okay, I'm lying, sometimes I talk shit, but I'm trying to find a state of mind to keep me in line. Whoop the zero with my fleet, man. They always say, Captain, why you gotta be bad? I don't know, it's just rinse, repeat. Long warps, puff bells, lean back to see. If it ain't got nothing blingy, then the fit ain't complete. Dank frags only come when you suffer defeat. So keep your guns loaded, cash where you can't fold it. Play to your strength to let your ego get bloated. You can't be the best forever, somebody else gon' put you to measure. If I can help it, I won't give them the pleasure. Know they scared, they ain't breaking the tether. Can't lose if you don't play, man, you better get it together. To the vets in the alpha clones about to roam. Solo pilots out alone. Don't forget where you came from and how you've grown. All the friends that you got and the ones that gone.
Yeah. To the vets in the alpha clones about to roam. Solo pilots out alone. Don't forget where you came from and how you've grown. All the friends that you got and the ones that gone. Yeah.
been a while. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey. Fuck the plan, decloak with them hams. Who said I don't throw hands? Well, this your man's. Well, he chopped up like the weed smoke through my fan. Here's your loot, I'ma drop that can. All these modules fucking bland, homie. See you talk a lot, walk the block like you was the man, homie. But when they run up, we gon' see if you gon' put your fucking gun up or beat them feet. I'ma burn out everything, wish I could heat them links. Dirty how they had you done up, this is CPT. And I'm coming to you live from the place to be. Hey, somewhere out in space with a face to sing. A lot of sides of the ones that claim to be G's, that claim that these streets and space lay siege. My technicians hard at work in my facility. On the ships that these shits claim have unengageability. When my lost males disagree. And you ain't doing damage out here dissing me. And if you match the trends, then you hitting me. But if you talking noise, then you missing me. So when you pull up, they surprised. Tried to tell them, thought you lied. Now the auto cannon flash, just reflecting off their eyes. Stupid game, stupid prize. Are you dead or alive? Hey, 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 hey. Couldn't tell you how to intosis or the best sites you should run off of your gnosis, but I can tell you about a locust coordinator. My coordination pretty bad thanks to quarter vapor. Ain't no hate, say what's up every time they come through. I've been sitting pretty good, man. How about you? I hope you stay composed, be collected, be cool. My reps keep going long as I got a few. Hey, 3200s, 25 lighters, 25 huggers. Think it's time to retire. Try hard's gonna die hard. Find out pretty quick what their size are. By far the dumbest shit in the stars like. Right bars, just hoping to get some insight. Yeah. Fools trying to act like they just fucking lost to a bad fight. But they wouldn't say shit if the X-type was sitting in the cargo with the rest, right? Wouldn't sweat the hate, wouldn't hear the noise. I'd pack a blaster, leave it null and void. Hey, here's the Spartan and here's the Roy. It's getting boring, hope you're both deployed. Hey, let me take you back to the beginning. When I was never concerned with how I was gonna win it. If all you got is time, I'm suggesting you get with